going to be presenting and you need help, please raise your hand. One of our technical team will assist you with that so you don't have delays. Now, before I call on, it was supposed to be Mayor Matode, but I'm actually going to call on Mamba. Before I do that, I would like you to introduce yourselves to each other. So just look at your neighbor, tell them your name and what you do. Are you a researcher? Are you an investor? What do you do? So just 2 minutes to do that so that we get to know each other. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed with our program. We are now going to have acknowledgement of guests. And we are going to have that by Mr. Mamba Mashapu from the ULTTO.
Good morning. Firstly, I would like to apologize for starting late. We were waiting for you to be here. The exhibitors have been here by 6:30. So I was just surprised our audience did not arrive in time. But nonetheless, thank you very much for being here and honoring our invitation to you. I will be standing in on behalf of Ms. Matode. She's from our office, but she's held up with other commitments at the moment, so she couldn't be here. So I just came to welcome our guests that will be presenting and also that will be doing the panel discussion as well. So firstly, I would like to, without any wasting any time, I'll start by acknowledging our first presenter, which will be Dr. Maila, Dr. Y. Maila, as well as her colleagues, Ms. Emma Mabolo, and then also acknowledge Mr. P. Mampuru from the UL Digital Hub, Ms. Zuma and Professor T.J. Mugwabani from the Department of Agriculture, Animal Production and Agri-Economics and Animal Production, University of Limpopo. We will also be having Mr. C. Mujapelo from Standard Bank. He will be presenting online. We also have Dr. K. Tobejani from the NTK. We have Mr. O. Ramuhala from UL School of Accountancy. We have Mr. M. Mamabolo from Department of Social Development. And then I'll also move on to the panelists. We're going to be having a panel discussion. I just thought that it's very important that we have discussions that really going to make an impact in your lives, not just presentations like this, and then we just have to engage and so that you can be able to learn something from that. We're going to have Mr. M. Ledwaba from Nsete Agricop, and then we have Mr. M. Tusaro from Shira Budari and Stud. We have Ms. W. Mashaka, Serache Farms. We have Ms. Osibanyoni, Joale Farms. And then Ms. Matode, I'm not sure if she will manage to be here for the panel discussion. And then we're also going to have the second panel discussion, which will be led by Ms. Salome Mabasa. And then we're going to have the panelist will be Ms. A. Letwalo from the Core Energy. And then we have Mr. K. Mashiro from Kula. And then we have Mr. It's R.A. I hope he's he's not here. He's going to actually kill me for doing putting the wrong initials there. It has to be Mr. It's R.A. Matonzi. And then we're also going to have Miss Mukhobu. Miss Mukhobu, unfortunately, she won't be here. I think she's preparing to plant. She's one of our commercial farmers in Limpopo. So she sent an apology. She's going to be planting today, so she couldn't make it. And then we're also going to have Mr. Kubai from the Limpopo Department of Agriculture. So those are our people that will be on the presentations. And other stakeholders, I would like to also acknowledge Polokwane Municipality, the Limpopo Social Development, NTK, Core Energy, and the Capricorn District Municipality. To all the representatives from the Polokwane Municipality, we say welcome. And all the other representatives from the other departments, we also welcome you to this event. And thank you for honoring and being here. So please be attentive, and you are more than welcome to be here. Let's just engage, and then we're going to have time to go out and see the exhibitions and then also network. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, please. Thank you so much. Let's move right along, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for presentations. Technical, are we ready with the presentations? Okay, all right. You know, in my mind, I keep on saying, "Ke tlo thoma ho bolela Sepedi," but ke a tshaba. But let me try and carry the program Gaspedi because indigenous knowledge, farming, the learning of language, being able to communicate in communities is very important. So ke kgopela re bitse Mme Mamabolo. Miss Mama, sorry, it's not Miss Mamabolo. Okay, just a minute. So I'm gonna ask that the presentations they just follow each other. So I'm not going to come in after each presenter. Each presenter has 15 minutes. Please give me a minute to figure out. She is a doctor, and I'd rather let her introduce herself and do the proper introductions. There were changes in the programs that were not written here for me. Ah, no. Okay, so after Mr. Mampuru, I know you're very good with time. So in 15 minutes, please come in. And after that, it will be Miss NL Zuma. All right, just a round of applause. I think they're just preparing. In the meantime, DJ, do you have anything for us, perhaps? Nothing. It's a very corporate and serious event. Okay. Okay, while they're preparing, can I see by show of hands how many students we have here? Okay, all right. That is good to see. We have some students that are ready to learn and be impacted. I think we should be fine. This is Tlo, he's technical from the TTO, also works well with Mamba. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Good morning, Tobela, Abusheni, Aliatakhala today. Good morning, our visitors, our students, our esteemed representatives from different organizations. I greet you. My name is Dr. Ivoni Maila. I serve in the Limpopo Agro-Food Technology Station. Okay. My name is Dr. Ivoni Maila. I serve in the Department of Limpopo Agro-Food Technology Station. I'm going to present to you. The title of my presentation is written Value Addition of Research Project into Marketable Products from Lab to Market. So this is a presentation that I normally do for events where there are students and also upcoming farmers. So value addition to research project, it's like even when you are farming, that is research for you because you have to find information about what you're going to plant, the type of plant that you're going to plant, and whether there is market, and where are you going to do the testing and analysis of your product, as well as the packaging and the labeling. So my presentation is going to tell you all about the steps that you should take the moment you have that idea that you're going to develop a product. What should you do to take that product to the market? The same way as the exhibitors are doing outside, they've gone through those steps. So we are here as Limpopo Agro-Food Technology Station to tell you how you can go about it. So Limpopo Agro-Food Technology Station is a center of excellence that is housed in the University of Limpopo under the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. It is serving under the Technology Innovation Agency, which funds it to offer agro-processing services to SMMEs and farmers in the Limpopo province, which in turn obtain market access. Isn't it everybody who's farming, the end goal is to attain the market? So that's what we are. Our vision is to be a center of excellence that improves SME agro-processing services in Limpopo province and other African countries by means of using cutting-edge technologies. And our mission is to improve agro-processing services rendered by SMEs mainly in Limpopo province and other parts of South Africa with modern technologies and partnership. And our objectives, they are to provide services to SMEs for their agro-processed products to comply with the national and ISO standards requirements, and to enhance, again, the entrepreneurial skills for existing and potential SMEs, and to strengthen research and development capacity in agro-processing and value addition sectors within Limpopo province. We have 4 departments at Limpopo Agro-Food Technology Station. We have the Food Technology Station, the Food Microbiology Department, the Analytical Chemistry Department, and the Research and Development Coordination Department. That's where I am serving as a researcher. So the services that we offer at Limpopo Agro-Food Technology Station, under Research and Development Coordination, we also assist postdoctorate mentorship. We also have master's and PhD students that are being supervised under the Limpopo Agro-Food Technology Station. We also do the training and supervision, undergraduate student technology demonstration. When they do their practicals, like they want to dry their leaf samples, their soil samples, or to use the analytical equipment, we do assist them. And then we do publications with the research that we have developed at the station, and we also present like this at conferences. The testing and analytical services under the Food Microbiology Lab and the Analytical Chemistry Lab, I will demonstrate with equipment that we have that will assist you. And then these are the equipment that we have under the Food Technology Lab equipment. We have the industrial juice pulping machine, the industrial blender, the industrial microwave, the cold room and freezer, the industrial dryer, industrial grinder. All these equipments are available for farmers, SMEs, students, entrepreneurs that want to use them to process their product. Whether you have a lot of mango that you have produced or oranges or anything, you can come to Limpopo Agro-Food Technology Station and they will assist you to dry, to pulp, to grind, or to process it into any product that you want it to enter the market. Under the Analytical Chemistry Lab, after you've developed your product, for it to enter the market, it has to have the nutritional information, right? Not like this one. If you are still at this stage, you can never enter the market. You see, this product doesn't have a labeling. We don't know the owner, we don't know the nutritional information, we don't know the expiry date, we do not know what is inside, whether it's water or paraffin or anything. So the Analytical Chemistry Lab, it will assist you from this stage to a labeled stage. Unfortunately, I don't have, but some of the waters that we have from NTK, if you check, we can see that this is NTK water. If I drink and I become sick, I know where to go. I know who to consult, right? But this one, you cannot hold anyone accountable because anyone can say, I don't know it, you see. So we assist from this stage to a labeling stage, and that will be done under the analytical chemistry lab, where they will test your product and tell you what nutritional information is there in your product, whether it is a soup product, a powder product, a juice, water, your meat product, any form of product, whether it is a herbal drink, medicinal drink, concoctions, anything, whether it is a formulation of a cosmetic product. We also work with the other departments that are doing medicinal and cosmetics. So we are there to assist you with this equipment. We have the GCMS, the freeze dryer. You can dry it instead of using the industrial dryer. If you want to still maintain the nutritional information without altering it under dry heat that we are used to, you can use the freeze dryer. We have it. We have the ICPE for your nutritional information, the AC600, the Struspec, and the water bath. Those equipments are available at Limpopo Agrofood for your product. Under the food microbiology lab, we have these equipments, the Smasher, the Vitec, all these equipment that are displayed here. For the microbiology, this helps you to test whether during your production, most of you whom have been assisted by labs, you will know that when we first assist you to take your product from a no-name to a nutritional attached labeled product, you go through steps that we will train you on how to handle your product hygienically. So the training that we will give you to say, when you produce your product, you'll have to cover your head, you have to wash your hands, produce them under a clean environment, so that when we take your product under the microbiology lab, they are going to test the amount of bacteria or microorganisms that are harmful in your product. So if your product were not produced under clean environment, or you were not washing your hands, or you were dropping items down and picking them, you are not washing your utensils, the food microbiologist will tell you your product is not safe for consumption, because they will detect the load of microorganisms that are harmful for the consumers, right? So all these equipment that are displayed here, they will tell you the quantities of microorganisms that are there in your product, and they will tell you that this is acceptable, it can be consumed without making the consumers to be sick. And if they are above the acceptable range, they will tell you that no, you cannot sell it. Then they will tell you that your product has failed some tests. So we have this department that will assist you. So we have the impact of services that we have offered from 2017 to 2024. We haven't released for 2025, right? So we have assisted in between 2017 and 2024, we have assisted 1,991 SMEs. Those include students and farmers, and SMEs and agro-processors and industries. And we have trained new SMEs, 595, and we have tested 476 products that have entered the market. We have also developed new products for those farmers who are farming like vegetables, you have excess of it, and then you don't know what to do with it. We have Ms. Mamabolo here, my colleague, and she will tell you that, okay, instead of just selling your tomatoes as tomato, let's do a chutney, let's do a tomato sauce, let's do a tomato jam, let's dry them. So we have developed products of 234 for SMEs. And then we have supported 219 postgraduate support. Those students have graduated. So these are the services that we have at LATS. Just to name a few, some of you will be knowing TM Foods. TM Foods has been founded by Trifina Musomani, and her company produces canned beetroot. So the canned beetroot comes in different flavors. She has the chutney, the hot, the garlic, cinnamon and ginger, and she has managed to employ 15 people. And she has tested her product under Limpopo Agrofood, and we are still working with her as she develops new other products. And then she is supplying different retails, Spar, Food Zone, Hosiami, A1 Supermarket, Cash and Carry, Broadway, and around Sushiro, she's supplying them, and even the new ones that I don't know maybe. So she's one of our SMEs that we have supplied. You also know Harosi. He is the first to develop the sweet potato yogurt. It was researched and developed at Limpopo Agrofood through a master's student, and now he is selling this in South Africa, all the provinces. He is known as the first SME to develop a yogurt from a vegetable crop. So we are proud of him. We also find the product there at Nesta Food, Rosiami, A1, United, and even here at ShopRite, I saw it. So you can go and test it. Maybe he's even outside. And then we have Rave About Sauce. Rave About Sauce was founded by Prudence Maluka, and it is a company that produces food condiments, chili sauce, jams, dips, paste, and her products on selected. Their products are found in Roots Butchery, Spar Supermarket, and also online stores. We have Dr. Kweteb's Creative. He's also outside. He's one of our students that we have also mentored under postgraduate, tested and developed most of his products under Limpopo Agrofood, and we are still supporting him. Dr. Kweteb's also is producing, now he has ventured into the Moringa biscuit. He's even doing different products under Moringa, calling it the Moringa Nutrica. So he's also here. You can interact with him. We have African Nosh, found by Refilio Masemola, tested her instant sorghum porridge at last. She's also selling this in Rosiami supermarket in Polokwane. So just to cut the story short, we are assisting most SMEs just to take your product to enter the market, going through all the steps through our department. And we also, under the research and development coordination, for those who are developing a very new product with novelty, we'll take that project through research and check if it has ever been done. Recently, we have developed the Jatropa Ziheri iced tea. So this iced tea has been developed from an indigenous plant that is growing around Khasikukune area there. We have developed and patented it, and it will be in the supermarket. It is at that commercialization stage with the Technology Transfer Office at the University of Limpopo. We also have developed and researched the indigenous Setose instant pumpkin meal that is also under discussion on how to improve and commercialize the formulation so that it can be fully patented. So for those new products that you are developing that are very new, especially from the indigenous crops, they are not there in the market, so you can easily protect your idea and patent them through the Technology Innovation Agency. No, the Technology Transfer Agency. So thank you so much. If you have some questions, when we get an opportunity, you can interact with us or Ms. Mama Bolo, or just walk to Limpopo Agrofood next to Campus Control or University of Limpopo Transport Services. We are there. Thank you so much.
Okay. Legai. Program Director, I stand on the protocol that has already been established, but allow me to acknowledge the university management, Vice Chancellor in absentia, Dr. Jeffrey Mabelevele, DVC Teaching and Learning, DVC Research, Innovation and Partnership, young entrepreneurs and young farmers who are in our midst today, esteemed guests, marketing colleagues, technology transfer colleagues. It is indeed an absolute honor to be part of this prestigious event. So I'm coming from the Technology Transfer Office within the University of Limpopo. So we are mainly responsible for assisting students as well as academic researchers in turning their research output into commercially viable products. So today I'm going to give a presentation about the importance of intellectual property in the context of agriculture. So if maybe I can just ask you a question. What if a farmer in this room come up with a new plant variety, or a student come up with a smart technology that is able to detect pests? How would one ensure that their innovation is recognized, protected, and rewarded? Well, I believe the answer lies in the power of intellectual property, and it will make more meaningful sense as I go through my presentation. So this will be the overview of my presentation for today. We are going to outline what is intellectual property in the context of agriculture. And then, of course, we are going to outline the rights that intellectual property gives you. And then we're also going to unpack different forms of intellectual property that you as a farmer or a student, you can take advantage of that and leverage it to your business. So in order to understand the concept of intellectual property, one needs to first understand what property is and what intellectual means. So property can be better understood in relation to the right of ownership. For instance, the land that you have, you can have ownership for that, but it's a tangible property. The house that you live in, you can also have ownership of that particular house. So intellectual, on the other hand, it just means the output of human mind. So this brings us to the definition of intellectual property, which is the creation of your mind, such as the inventions, the logos that you see, I mean, the banners here, the exhibitors' banners as well, the logos, the names, the plant varieties that I've alluded to during my introduction. And the good thing about intellectual property is that you can use it to make money. So I've put this slide here. I don't know if it's visible. So it outlines different forms of intellectual property that you can apply to your product. So I'm going to unpack every one of these form of IP so that it can make more meaningful sense to you. So I've mentioned that the good thing about intellectual property is that it gives you the rights to exclude others from using your product without your permission. So let's say you have come up with the smart technology like I've already alluded. It can be protected under what you call a patent because it's an invention. So if maybe you come up with a logo or a slogan, it's protected under trademark. Then the new plant varieties will be covered under the plant breeders' rights. So we can start with a patent, as I've already mentioned, that we are going to unpack different forms of intellectual property. So a patent is just an exclusive right granted by a government in exchange for a full disclosure of how your innovation works. And the reason why they require you to disclose fully is because they want to encourage innovation. So for your patents to be acceptable for registration by the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission, your CIPC, your invention must be new. Dr. Maila has already mentioned that you have to come up with something that has never been done before. Then secondly, it must be inventive. Inventive meaning if maybe I'm an engineering student, I come up with maybe a smart technology. A person in the same field must not combine A and B and arrive easily at C. It must show the level of creativity. Then lastly, it must have an industrial use. It must be able to be applied in the market. So I've put these two images to show examples of patents that can be protected in the context of agriculture. As you know, that the agriculture has evolved over the years. Farmers now are using drones to detect pests, like I've mentioned, climatic weather conditions as well. And they're also using the robotics to improve the economy of scale. So we also have trademark as another form of intellectual property. Trademark is quite important because if I believe we have farmers here who have products already. Dr. Maila have already mentioned the technology station within the university that we use to test some of the product, because they have to comply with certain standard before they can reach to market. So trademark assists you to protect your logo, your slogan, sounds. Other countries even goes further to protect the sounds, like the sounds of the Coca-Cola. When you open the Coca-Cola, that sounds is protected under the trademark. So you can see how important it is to have intellectual property in your business, because it gives you that competitive advantage. So you might ask yourself, what will be the requirements for my trademark to be accepted by the CIPC? So your mark must show a level of distinctiveness. What I mean by this, I've put the Apple logo as well as the Camel cigarette. Apple logo has nothing to do with Apple. But if maybe you were selling apple as a fruit, then you name it as an apple, they will reject it because the name is descriptive of the product that you want to register. So it must show the level of distinctiveness. So I've put these reasons why some of the trademarks might be rejected by the CIPC. You might find that you are using a confusedly similar mark to an existing product. They will definitely reject this on the basis of that. Or maybe you are using the generic term such as chair for selling chairs. They will obviously decline that as well. And you cannot also use the official symbols like the South African national flag to promote your business. They won't allow that. So I've also put this to a distinction, the TM as well as the R. So TM is used when you're still applying for a trademark registration. Your trademark is still pending acceptance by the CIPC. Then the R symbol is used when your product is already been registered. So the good thing about trademark is that it can last for an indefinite period, subject to payment of renewal fee after every 10 years. So we'll now move on to another form of intellectual property called industrial design. So in South Africa, we have two types of design. We have aesthetic design that protect how the product looks. The shape of this can be protected under aesthetic design. And then we also have what we call the functional design. Earlier this morning when I came to this room, I saw the tractor outside. Those tractor implements are protected under functional design because they are necessitated by its functionality. Then the requirements for your designs to be acceptable for registration. Your design must be original. It must show that level of original. It must not be something that we can copy. Then the duration for industrial design, for aesthetic design, it lasts for a period of 15 years. Then after this period, it becomes what you call a public domain. Anyone can access it because it has reached its lifespan. Then the functional design lasts for a period of 10 years. Then we have another form of intellectual property called the plant breeder's right. I think this slide talks to audience who are here because the purpose of this event is to bring together different farmers in their respective field. So this slide is quite important because it protects farmers who come up with new plant variety. And there's also a requirement for your plant varieties to be accepted for registration. It must satisfy all these 4 requirements. Your seeds must be new. It must also show a level of uniformity. It must be different to other seeds that are out there. And it must also show the level of stability even after the repeated propagation. Then the plant breeder's rights also have its lifespan. For vines and tree, it lasts for a period of 30 years. And then for all other cases like your crop, it gives you a period of 25 years. And it also confers you what you call the exclusive rights to exclude others from using your seeds without your permission. if someone wants to use your plant variety, they need to get permission from you. You can license that to them so that they can generate the royalty fee payment. Then we have another form of intellectual property called trade secret. So trade secret is quite important because it does not require registration like other forms of intellectual property, like your patents, your trademarks. But the danger when it comes to trade secret is that you must maintain it a secret, because if you disclose this to anyone, it loses its economic value. So you must maintain it a secret. And the good thing about a trade secret is that it can last for an indefinite period unless you disclose the secret. So I've also put these slides. It doesn't really talk much to the farmers, but there are trends in agriculture. Like I've mentioned, that agriculture is evolving at quite a substantial rate. So we all know that farmers are using smart technologies to monitor their yields. So there are mobile apps that they use to detect this kind of technologies. So with copyrights, you can rely on copyrights to protect your software and the source code. And the good thing about copyright is that it does not also require you to registration. So your creation equals protection. So you might ask yourself, what would be the requirements for my copyright works to be protected? So your work must be original. And you must also be able to reduce it to a material form. I'll give you an example of what I mean when I say you must reduce it to material form. Let's say you have a song in your head. You cannot say, I'm the owner of this song. You must write it down. So copyright does not protect the ideas, it protects the expressions of the idea. So you must reduce that into material form by writing it down. Then it can be protected under copyright. And the good thing about copyright is that people must be cognizant when it comes to their apps and stuff, because it does not require protection. You must embed your name in it, as well as the year in which you have come up with that particular IP. I think my presentation ends here. I will pause for now, then we'll take questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we please have Ms. Zuma to come? Okay. And then the next presenter after that is going to be Ms. Mojapelo, if they can also just prepare themselves. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am not Miss Zuma. This is Prof. Mugwabana. Ms. Zuma is my student. She's a first-year master student working on the characterization and cryopreservation of semen in REMS. But today, she's going to present or share with us on the opportunities in crocodile and game farming in Limpopo province. So just listen. I think you will enjoy the presentation.
Thank you so much, Prof. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, lecturers, fellow students, and distinguished guests. My name is Nonsindiso Zuma. As Prof have said, I'm a first-year master in animal production under the supervision of Professor Mukwabana and mentored by Dr. Nemutandana. It is a great pleasure to stand before you today to share some insights on a very exciting and emerging sector within our province. So without wasting of time, On today's presentation, I'm going to be taking through the Limpopo hidden gold opportunities in crocodile and game farming. So as we're sitting here, a lot of people, when we talk about agriculture and livestock, they simply think of the beef and the cattle production. But beyond that, there lies a hidden treasure of the crocodile and the game farming. So moving onwards, this is our presentation outline. So when we think of the Limpopo province, we often think of its beautiful landscape, the rich wildlife, and the strong agricultural activities. However, as I've said before in our talk, beyond that, there lies a strong, powerful opportunity in wildlife-based farming, which is the farming of the crocodile and the game species, which are becoming more popular or important to both local and international markets. These industries have gained attention due to their ability to generate the income, creating the employment, supporting the conservation, while also strengthening the rural economies. It is very important to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that this has created a great shift towards a more sustainable and innovative agricultural practices that work in harmony with the nature rather than against it. So, as I've said before, I'm going to be highlighting the importance on the opportunities and the fact that why the crocodile and the game farming can truly be considered in the Limpopo province. I think on our talk, I've mentioned countless times that the Limpopo province is classified with the warm temperatures throughout the entire year, throughout the season. As you see, I'm wearing a dress. It's not too cold, and it's because also of its abundance of the natural resources, making it an ideal environment for the crocodile and the game farming. So looking at the overview of our province, the Limpopo province, it shares the border with the Mozambique, the Zimbabwe, as well as the Botswana. So with these favorable environmental conditions, it promotes the sustainable use of these wildlife-based farming systems. Furthermore, this has attracted the thousands of local and international tourists, thus creating the employment, generating the income, as well as contributing mostly to the provincial economy. So imagine you're just standing on a riverbank while watching the crocodiles bask in the sun. For many people, ladies and gentlemen, we know that the crocodiles are viewed or seen as dangerous animals, but to us as farmers, they represent a valuable agricultural enterprises because on our talk, we've mentioned that they generate the income, creating the employment, and also contributing to the provincial economy. So looking at these figures, one may wonder what is here. We have the crocodile meat as well as the byproducts that are manufactured using the crocodile skin, the leather. So the crocodile leather is considered as a high luxury product that is used to manufacture the handbags, the shoes, the wallets, as well as the belts coming from the international fashion brands. One of them was still going to be seen on our talk, which is the Louis Vuitton. So looking at the crocodile meat is becoming popular or increasing in demand because of its high value test, and it's very expensive. So if you're eating a crocodile meat, you're very rich. You're not really rich, but you can afford, you're an affording group. And because of its all high protein content, as well as the low fat content. So we can say that since it is increasing in demand, not locally, but globally around the world, that it can slowly replacing the beef cattle, because on our talk earlier, we mentioned that the crocodiles are the cold-blooded animals that can thrive and survive in extreme weather conditions. When we look at the beef production side, we know that increasing high temperatures may lead to drought, may lead to heat stress, thus lowering the fertility when we look at the fertility production side. So, increasing the climate change, the drought, and the temperature frequency in our province makes the crocodile farming an attractive option. Why? Because they are less dependent on natural pastures. But the question still remains why the Limpopo province is the most suitable province for the crocodile farming. In our talk earlier, we've mentioned countless times that it's because of the favorable climate, the warm temperatures throughout the year, the suitable breeding conditions, while not also forgetting that the province, it also offers the resources, the water resources, such as the rivers, the dams, as well as the lakes. One of the rivers that supports the crocodile farming is the Great Letaba River, as well as the Olifants River. So now, here comes the interesting part of our talk, which is the hidden treasure, the benefits of the crocodile farming. I've mentioned earlier in our talk that when we talk about agriculture and livestock, a lot of people, what comes in their mind, it's the poultry, it's the goats, it's the beef. While lies a traditional hidden treasure of the crocodile and the game farming. Because the crocodile farming is not only just for the food production, but it also, every animal aspect has its own economic importance. I'm going to dwell on that. So looking at these figures, we have the handbag of a Louis Vuitton. We said that on our talk earlier. The crocodile leather is considered as a high luxury product that is used to manufacture the handbags, the shoes, the belts, as well as the wallets that is used globally by the international fashion brands. One of them, you see them on the slides, which is the Louis Vuitton brand, right? And we also mentioned that the crocodile farming, did you know that a single crocodile can produce or can be worth more than an entire beefcakers? So that is where the hidden treasure lies on. Because with the crocodile farming, it's not only about the food production, it's not only about the leather production also, because it also contributes to tourism, attracting the local as well as the international tourist, creating the employment for the rural community, and also promoting permanent jobs, mostly for women in the rural areas. So looking at this pie chart, we have the distribution of crocodile farms in South Africa. So when we look, ladies and gentlemen, on the Limpopo province, respectively, about 59% of the crocodile farms that are found in our province, which supports or provide a strong evidence that the environmental conditions that we have in our province, they support the crocodile farming. Looking on our right-hand side, we have also the byproducts that are produced using the crocodile skin, which are using the crocodile leather which are the handbags, the shoes, the wallets, as well as the belt. And it is also the main export market for crocodile products in Europe, in United States of America, the Asia, as well as other international markets. So with these statistics or with this information I've just displayed, it's provided strong evidence that the crocodile farming, it's not only supports the locals, but it is increasing in a global market also. In our talk, we've just mentioned the economic benefits of the crocodile farming, but it also offers its own challenges. We know that behind every successful farm, there lies a significant investment in time, in money, as well as the enterprise. So one of the challenges that the farmers that they face is the crocodile farm or the crocodile farming. It requires a high startup. It requires a high capital because they need to build secure enclosures, they need to provide the water, the feeding systems, as well as the incubation facilities. It is very important to know, ladies and gentlemen, that these facilities, they're very expensive before any profits can be made. The farmers, they need a specialized knowledge in order to understand the animal husbandry as well as the understanding the health of the crocodile farming in order to ensure a successful production. Wild safety is also a major concern because we highlighted on our talk that for normal people, the crocodiles are viewed or seen as dangerous and powerful animals. So this brings us to our second part of our talk, which is the game farming. So when we talk about game farming now, it's when we are talking about the breeding, the management, the conservation, as well as the sustainable utilization of the wildlife animals. It's when we are talking about the animals like antelopes, the buffaloes, the giraffes, as well as the zebras. So why our province is ideal for the game farming? We've mentioned on our talk earlier that it's because of the warm temperatures it has throughout the entire seasons. It's because of the bushveld vegetation. It's because of the low rainfall that we have on our province, as well as the strong tourism sector. Okay. So the game farms, they also contribute to the provincial economy because they also create the employment, they generate the income, they also useful for tourism, attracting both locals as well as the international tourists. I think I've mentioned on our talk earlier that it also also on the game farms, they also provide the opportunities for the rurals, supporting also or promoting permanent jobs for the women. So according to the Limpopo survey coverage of 2022, the wildlife ranching has made a significant expansion to the natural habitats within the province. So the survey have found that about 46% of the wildlife animals increased in size, 44% of the wildlife animals remains unchanged, and 10% of the wildlife animals decreased in size. Okay, sorry. So the findings demonstrated that the game farms, they encourages the landowners to preserve the natural ecosystem rather than converting to other land use. So this also generates income among themselves. Moving onwards, we have the distribution of game farms. And if you were also listening earlier on our talk, we were also covered on the crocodile farms. So looking at the game farms in South Africa, when we look at our pie chart, we have about 50% of the game farms that are found in our province, and this is supported by the favorable weather conditions that I've mentioned earlier on our talk. So now, why do we say that the crocodile and the game farms or the wildlife farms, they are truly a hidden treasure? So now when we compare with the beef farming, here are the reasons. And I think, or I hope that by the end of this talk, a lot of people will have an idea of what I'm trying to say. So looking at the wildlife farming, there is high income potential. And if we look at the beef production, there are low profit margins. The reason being, the beef prices, they keep on fluctuating, which is the crisis that we are facing on South Africa. The beef prices are very high. Looking at the land use efficiency, when we talk of the wildlife farms, they do not require a large area of the land. Looking at the beef production, they require large grazing land and more resources such as water as well as the feedlot. The environmental impact of the wildlife farms, They promote the conservation as well as the sustainability. While when we look at the beef production, there is high environmental impact because it contributes to overgrazing, lead to the land degradation, as well as the soil erosion. On our talk earlier, ladies and gentlemen, we mentioned that the wildlife farms, they are increasing globally. So there is a market demand globally. It's growing globally demand because of the strong demand for the wildlife, the luxury game meat, and the live game export. Looking at the beef production side, there is price volatility. The beef prices fluctuate and are highly competitive with the lower profits potentials. So why the wildlives are more interesting and better? It's because of the high income potential and multiple revenue streams it has, because it supports the conservation, the biodiversity, as well as the sustainable land use. In conclusion, the crocodile and the game farming represent a valuable hidden economic asset in the Limpopo, contributing to the employment, tourism, exports, conservation, and the sustainable rural development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give her one more round of applause. So our next presenter is going to be joining us online. We are just connecting. I think they're already waiting for us. Have the let's try again, sir. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we can hear you too now.
All right. Can I kick off?
I'm just waiting for a go ahead from technical. Okay, you can go ahead. I'm sure you've seen the audience already.
No, I haven't. And I'm not sure if you're gonna do a video. I see the audience, but it is fine. I can carry on.
Let me just try and okay. I just want you to see the audience so you know who you're speaking to. So we have a room of people waiting to learn. We've got investors, we've got government, we've got students. Please go ahead with your presentation. So you've got 15 minutes.
All right, thank you. Let me put my screen up. Let me know if you can see. All right, and thank you for the opportunity. Unfortunately, I could not be with you in person. I am Mutsipiri, Calvin Mujapelo. I'm representing Standard Bank. A friend of mine, Mamba, but I think he's the organizer, asked me to come and present what we are offering to emerging farmers, youth in agri. So I've prepared few slides to give the audience some information. So the bank, just to kick off with some history. So the Standard Bank is 162 years old, and we have been financing agri. And when we started financing, the very first industry that we have financed or sector is agri, where we have financed the export of wool from the Eastern Cape. So we are deep in agri, and agri is part of our DNA. Just to give an idea of what we are offering in terms of financial products, and I think you are aware that agri is lending heavy, which means most of the bankers that are doing agri are primarily doing lending, which is a loan application to emerging, medium, and large commercial farmers. So I've got in here three broad categorization of the commodities, which starts from the short term. And on the short term side, the most important that I want to speak about is the agricultural production loan, which is normally a loan where we assist farmers to get their planting either in the grain space, or we purchase the input for their feed, their leeks as well. So it's a short term in nature that the farmer applies every year, and the capital amount as well as the interest is repaid at the end of the season, which means if you planting maize in October, November every year, the loan is likely to expire around September the following year, at which point you will need to fully settle that account. And once you fully settle the account, then you will be able to repay. So the interest, the capital, all of that is capitalized on the product, which means you are required as a farmer to pay all of that at the end of the season. So there's normally no monthly repayment expected, simply because we understand agri, and we understand the farmer might not have enough reserves to service the monthly interest, and the only income that comes is annual income, which will come once of a year. Then on the medium term, it's normally where we finance your vehicle and assets, your tractor, your equipments, and normally the collateral here is the particular asset that we are financing. And if you look at the long term, we're looking at financing the pack houses, financing purchasing of land. So in broad, these are some of the lending products that we are offering at Standard Bank. But over and above this, you've got the green finance, where the farmer might want to put some solar panel to get off the grid and add some solar on the farm during the time when there's load shedding or there's no power, so that the farming operation carries on. So we also do finance some of the products on the farm outside of what I've just mentioned. So this is just a broad view of what we are likely to finance to the farmer. Important here is choose the right product for the right purpose, because if you obtain a short-term loan and then you go and buy a tractor, at the end of the season, you will be required to settle that product, all of it at once. So the production loan facility must be utilized for production finance, and the medium term should be utilized for the medium term. Normally, when we finance a tractor, we will likely get a quotation and do the payment directly to the supplier of the particular asset, and the production finance is normally directly into the business current account of the farmer, where they can start paying their own suppliers. So just broad overview of what the bank looks at to offer a finance to a farmer. On the left-hand side, I've got 5 C's of credit. These are the character, the capacity, the capital condition, and the collateral. And this is what we will normally look at in generic term. That we will, on the character side, look at the individual farmer, look at their credit profile, look at their transactional behavior. Do they have some dishonors? Do they go over the excess on their overdraft or on their credit cards? So this is primarily the behavior of the borrower in totality when we look at different accounts that they have, including the clothing accounts that you might have with some retail stores. So this is what we will look at in the beginning. Then we look at the capacity, where we will have to obtain financial statements from the farmer. We will have to get the cash flow projections, that we start to understand whether there's a repayment ability when we look at what the farmer wants the bank to finance against the income that will be generated, which will serve as primary income to service the loan. Then we look at the capital, and that's where we say, do the farmer wants to bring skin in the game? Is their own contribution that the farmer can bring on the table to make the bank to have more appetite to finance? Then we look at the conditions, and these are generally the market prices. If you're exporting to Iran, where there is a geopolitical tension and all that. So we will look into those and see if from non-financial perspective, are there other risks that are likely to impact you as a farmer, your business, that you might not be able to finance, and some collateral, as I've mentioned earlier. If it's vehicle asset finance, then normally the particular asset will be the collateral. But if we're talking production loan, we might look for offtake agreement. We might look for the cession of income. On the right-hand side, I've got high-level documents that simply your proof of residence, your copy of ID. Those are the information that you should have. And then the land access. If we are doing infrastructural development, we will obviously need the farmer to own that particular farm. But if it's planting of maize, soya, sunflower, then a lease agreement, as long as the tenure of that lease agreement covers the term of the loan, which I've indicated is normally a period of 12 months. So if we put 12 months lease agreement in place, and you've got a minimum of 50 hectares, if we're looking at the grain finance, the company registration documents will also be required, a business plan. But even if it's not a full business plan, as long as we can confirm the historic records of the farmer, because we base our finance on what has happened previously, the past 2 seasons, how many hectares you planted, what was the yield, what was the income. So the historical information is important in that business plan. And then we get financial statement as well as a BEE certificate, as simply because we are running a transformation, a program or initiative where confirmation of whether that business that we are financing under the BEE qualifies is important. So we need to have that BEE. Now getting into some of the work that we are doing and programs that we are running. I've got a couple of programs here that I'm highlighting. I'm not going to go through each one of this. In the grain space, we have AFGRI, and AFGRI do have got the training academy where youth can go through training such as introduction to plant production. They are big in grains, which means if a farmer is in the livestock, they might try to help with the basics of livestock farming, but they are more experts in the grain space. Within this program, so they are doing business plan for the farmers, help them link with the accountants where the farmer does not have financial statements in place. And they also do the business plan for those farmers and recommend the farmers to the bank for finance. So the bank normally would not go out and look for farmers in a development program, but we will tap into the existing portfolio built by AFGRI, built by Grain SA, because they've got farmer development program, and those have been funded either by government grants, maybe they've been funded by the farmers themselves, which is self-finance, and there is some track record that the farmer can hand over to, AFGRI can hand over to Grain SA, and then they will do business plan for them. Normally, it would be 2 years of 2 years of development program of finance under the development program, after which we can graduate the farmer out of the program, which means things such as mentorship might not be applicable if we think the farmer has already developed further and they've mastered the basics of farming and the financial discipline as well. If we can confirm those after a particular period of time, then we migrate them out of the development program. So we have got in this fruit side, the CGA, where the finance is also for production finance, and CGA also package the applications, identify the farmers that will participate. So they send the leads to us and we do the full assessment. And then on the one farm, it's normally the one that I will talk about is the market access, where we've got farmers producing, especially the grains as well as the vegetables, and they need alternative markets. So it's an online marketplace where the farmer can register and then put or place the sample of their produce, a picture on the platform. And so it's where you've got a buyer and you've got sellers as well. So a farmer, as a seller of the produce, will put the produce in there, and then someone that will want to procure the produce can therefore start liaising directly with that farmer. So there's some elements of making own price. In Agri we say farmers are price takers, but in this case, you and that particular buyer of the produce can agree on a price looking at the quality of the produce that you have offered to the market. Then we've got the University of Free State is simply the trainings here. This particular initiative operates in the University of Free State and as well as the Northern Cape. So overall, we have funded 100 million that we have dispersed to grain farmers as well as the citrus, covering in terms of the area 15,000 plus of planted hectares. So we are looking for more partners in the industry. If one of the organization there believes they can be a business development support, they've got farmers in their portfolio that they can refer to us, and they're also willing to do business plan for those farmers and manage the account and help the farmers with the procurement. I think we can speak and see if we can work together. And if we look at the BDSP, and that's now the business development, Grain SA is a BDSP, AFGRI is a BDSP, CGA is a BDSP for the bank. These are some of the services that they offer. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but it's selecting farmers, doing enterprise budget for those farmers, and making sure that they teach the farmers to draft or to do an enterprise budget that in the following year or the next 2 seasons, the farmer is able to do their own enterprise budget and communicate directly with the bank, and then mentorship where the farmer is lacking in terms of the technical knowledge, what chemical to spray, what time, and all that technical aspects of farming. That's what they will offer to the farmer to ensure that the farmer graduate as a up and coming or new era commercial farmer. The qualifying criteria which speaks to the farmers themselves is that the farmer should participate in the development program that I've mentioned the names here, must be a full-time farmer and willing to take up the training. Of course, access to land, either own land, which means you should have title deed if it's own land, or it could be a lease land where the tenure of the lease should be aligned to the production loan facility. And lastly here, I just want to highlight the knowledge that the bank is also contributing in the agribusiness side. So we have been producing the finance and farm management textbooks since 1981. Of course, you can see here that there is up until 7th edition is actually the latest, and this version we now have it on the ebook. So if we've got a farmer that already have got this textbook here and they want the ebook, then the ebook would be free for them, but only if you can confirm that you have purchased a hard copy textbook. So the bank have been contributing in agribusiness in terms of knowledge, and we are proud of the work that we are doing. So that is the end, and I want to leave the audience with this quote from Benjamin, and it says, "If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." So the farmers have got to start planning for the next season already. I thank you. Not sure if there's a Q&A session afterwards or now.
Yes, actually, I think let's take questions so we can release you. Are there any questions on the floor? There's a hand from a very small person here. Are there any questions? Okay, I think there are no questions. Thank you so much for that informative session. Hopefully next time you can join us in person.
All right, definitely. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to marketing in agribusiness, and we're going to be getting a presentation from Dr. Tobejane from NTK. A round of applause, please.
Dumela. And I totally understand. It's been a long morning. You've been listening. I'm going to try and make it very short so that you try and catch up and wake up a bit, because when you are faster, you all want to hear what happens. As already indicated, my name is Kulufelo Tobejane. I work for VKB, which is a bigger group for NTK Gieweka. I do business development there. What we always say when we engage with important people like you, we always say we are the friends of the farmers. It's because of you farmers that you find us living this long. VKB Group was founded in 1919. So we are still here and we're growing, and it's only because of you farmers. So once again, thank you for feeding our families and putting food on our tables. We also say that when we go out as a group, we want to ensure that we touch lives for the better. So if you've engaged with us and your life hasn't changed for the better, I won't blame us. It will definitely be on your end. So VKB Group was founded in 1919, as I said, and we align ourselves as a business of brands. If you're on this side of South Africa, on the northern side of South Africa, we are known as NTK. When you are in the Northern Cape, the Western Cape, we are known as Gieveka. And when you are in the central side of the country, we are known as VKB. We are an agribusiness that is focused mainly in agriculture. We are one of the top 3 in terms of agribusinesses in the country. We are owned by farmers. Hence, I said we are always grateful to farmers for sustaining our livelihood. And we are employing over 7,500 people. We also have a food manufacturing business, which is your agro-processing. In Limpopo, you know us by being a magnificent producer. We have opportunities. So when the group started, it started as, and I'm sure you can hear the abbreviations. They are all, geographical corporacies. NTK, the North, VKB, Free State, Gieveka in the Griqualand. So everything is about the geography of where we are, but we started off as a cooperative. So the main thing of a cooperative was about aggregation, because as a farmer, it's important for you to manage your transactional costs. If you're going to pay for the petrol, pay for the seed, take the produce to the market all on your own, you're going to be referred to one of those farmers that we say, in agriculture, you have farmers as price takers, because you're going to take what the market gives you all at your own expense. But if aggregation becomes your way of operation, then it becomes easier for your operations. It also brings more money into your pocket because your transactional costs becomes lesser. So in VKB Group, we have access to market and storage. So these farmers, like I said, our acronyms are based on geographical areas. So in the North, they started and said, because we are farmers of a specific commodity, we are then going to club ourselves together so that when we go and buy inputs, we get it at an aggregation and we are able to negotiate for a price because we are buying in bulk. Also, when we're taking our produce to the market, we're going to have a storage so that we don't sell at this point in time after our harvest, because the demand is high. You are not going to get enough money for your produce. So what do? You build a storage, you stock it in there, and you wait when everything else is out of the harvest, and now it's in need because you can't just get it anyway. Then you start selling. So you also looking at how you make money out of that. So the farmers then gather together to say, okay, we will build storage, we'll also go together to the market. And then they realized, obviously, when you produce, it's not easy to produce with cash every time. So what they then did was to go and look for capital. So within the group, the farmers that work with us, they have access to capital, of course, at an interest. We loan them. And also, we have insurance facilities because agriculture ke la Modimo nthushe. Tšatši le lengwe pula yana when it's supposed to rain, and the other time it just cannot rain for whatever reason, and you find yourself in drought and you have planted. So how do you then recoup and find yourself not bankrupt? You have to have insurance. We also have the agro-processing facilities and the support thereof in terms of training, in terms of market, and everything else. We realize that South Africa is a dual economy, even in agriculture. So what we do is we have our commercial farmers that are established, but we also have the other farmers that wants to graduate into commercial. So at this point in time, we have worked with farmers that we started from nowhere to them being commercial farmers. So we have a development wing that offers advisory services, extension, and all sorts of support. But like I said, we are mainly a grain producing cooperative. So we have farmers that are in our development programs. These are the brands, our house brands. When you see these, then you will identify with us and continue to support us. So I said earlier on that aggregation is important for farmers. For access to markets within the group, we look at value chain integration. We also have farmer support, and then we have the processing and distribution. So how do we then manage our value chain from the farm to the market? I'll give a bit of information. So we have support services, and we have farmers and consumers, and we have an intermediary to bring the market to the farmers, the food to the consumers. And we also have our own processing and distributing channels. So like I said, we have access to storage. We also facilitate trading connections. So I said, once we have our storage, it was for us to safeguard the price, right? And how do we safeguard the price? We then put our produce. So now it's that time where we have harvested the grain, and there's a lot of it. The price of maize, you can see it's not the same as it was in March. So what do? We then put it into storage and sell it when the price is high. We do that for the farmers. So we have a trading department that will then tell us, okay, we also export as part of our marketing channels. So they will then tell our farmers that today the price is at this level. So when is it at this point in time in terms of suffix trading? So when you take your maize today to our Mokopane mill or the retail that site, you should know the price. So you must then study those SMSs that you get. But these you get when you are part of us. I'm sure you can see there are forms there, ne? These forms. So then we'll have you on our database. So you will know the prices of commodities because you are part of us. Fill them in, come and be our clients. And then we then facilitate the trading in terms of the prices and producing consumer-ready products like your Magnificent through our milling and grain-filled chickens. We also have an abattoir in Raids. That's the agro-processing facility of the group. So we also work with poultry outside of grain. We also say, like I said, we have a data bank for all our producers. At this point in time, in terms of support, we have supported farmers for over 7,000 hectares of land. In the Free State, we support smallholder and developing farmers depending which organ of state you're coming from, to do maize, and with an area of, we're starting with an area of up to 130 hectares to support. In Limpopo, we've worked with pepper juice and potato farmers in terms of irrigation, where we have supported. So this support comes in as a package. So we start you from the production up to when you get to the market. And when you get to the market, how we support the farmers, for instance, if you have your neighbor here who is a developed potato farmer, and we have a case study of that has worked. Because when you go to the market, how many of us go and buy a new product that we have not seen before? So everybody, when you go and buy because you know it, you're familiar with it, you buy Testic, you buy Koo, you buy McCain. So we realized that for our farmers to also make it, we club them with the neighbor. So if you're producing potatoes, we will club you with a potato farmer. When he takes his products to the market, you use his label until you get to a point where you are independent on your own and you can start producing your own brand. So that we don't throw you into the deep end, we take you to the market and you stand next to McCain and nobody knows who you are. So that's how we also work with our smallholder farmers that are only starting. For the potatoes, we've done it. And now we have this farmer who now is well established and is able to also compete with the neighbor in the market. So that's the technical advice that we give. In terms of processing and distribution, we have our white maize mills located in Mokopane and Lois Richard. And this is our very proud, we are very proud to be identified with magnificent. You know, when you drive around Limpopo through the N1, from Gauteng, or even when you're coming from this side where I come from in Raskukude, there's always this orange bags that says we are doing a lot and we are also contributing to the food security of the country. So farmers there deliver up to 10 tons, around 10 tons, up to 50 kg of maize. Like I said, when you're on our database, you are able to know the price of maize on the day. So when the price is a bit higher, then you can go to our Mokopane mill, deliver your maize, and then you get your money the second day within 24 hours. And like the pricing, our pricing is based on suffix. So it's not because we look at who you are, where you come from, but we look at suffix and the value, the quality of your maize. Because I was told that we are coming to the university, but it's not a lot of students that are here. In terms of youth, we also have learnership, graduate internships, apprenticeships, and university bursaries. And we support in all these fields on my right, on your left. Okay, I guess this is my cue, hey? If you are in Limpopo, these are the contact details for our developing wing. You can take them and contact them. Once again, thank you very much for your attention and for coming, and remember to fill these forms, hey? Farmers. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you so much. That was marketing and agribusiness. We're going to move on to understanding compliance in agribusiness by Mr. Ramokhala, and then followed by a short presentation on services offered by the Department of Social Development. And this is going to be by Mr. Mamabulo. And then after this, I'm going to ask Mr. Mashapu to come and get us started for the panel discussion. So I will see you just before entertainment. In the meantime, can we please have Mr. Ramohala? Oh, great. There you go.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, let's try that one more time. Macheroni. Watubovuan. Towel. All right. My name is Mr. Ramohara O. I am coming from the School of Accountancy, Community Engagement. Next to me, I have my colleague right here.
Right, afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicholas Palani. I'm also from the School of Accountancy and also part of the community engagement team in the School of Accountancy.
All right, thank you for that. The fact that it's me and him here does not mean that we are going to take too much time. It's just going to be somewhere under 10 minutes because I can hear hunger when you respond to me. So I'm not going to take much of your time. What is community engagement? Community engagement is a unit under the School of Accountancy here at the university. What we do is we try to collaborate with the students and the local communities, the businesses around the local communities. The idea being we want to find solutions for the problems that the businesses around the community of the University of Limpopo are facing. So we do that with the assistance of the students. And today here, maybe let me allude to the main point why. Today here, the idea is to provide awareness to you as people that have got businesses in the agricultural field, and awareness of financial management, awareness of accounting, record keeping, awareness of tax compliance, which is quite important because for those that understand tax, you will know that tax is a law. If you have a business and you are not paying tax, then for a fact you are committing a criminal activity. Right. So just to quickly go through the mandate of the community engagement, I'll just quickly read through it. We are existing to promote sustainable community development. We try to build strategic partnerships. We ensure ethical and effective engagement, and we find ways to support knowledge sharing and capacity building. And maybe let me explain the last point then. You have expertise in the agricultural field. You know best the types of seeds and the soil and everything else. However, your business, it's a body of the different functional units that are there. And the functional units could include your admin, you could have operation, you could have marketing, but you also need to have finance. And finance, this is where the School of Accountancy Community Engagement is at. So knowledge sharing would be us making you aware of the ways in which you can manage your business better. You can comply with the legislation, specifically the tax, better. You can do your record keeping, such as the books, for the purposes of tracking your expenses and for the purposes of tracking your income. Oftentimes, you might find that you are producing, you are selling, however, you do not see profit. And the reason might not be that you are not making a profit. The reason might be that the way you are tracking your expenses and your profit, it's actually not benefiting you in any way. So this slide right here, it's just a few areas for collaboration or support that we can provide. And let me say this, we are not charging a fee, so this is done free of charge through a structured channel. So what is it that we can assist you as the farmers with? Financial management and bookkeeping support. That would be basic knowledge and practical guidance on record keeping. What do we mean record keeping? We mean for you to be able to keep the records or to draft your records, financial records, as well as keep them for sustainability purposes. Tax registration and compliance awareness. Oftentimes, if you go around the streets, you would find that there are people that are selling services such as your CIPC registration, your business idea drafting, and all of that. The University of Limpopo School of Accountancy Community Engagement exists to also assist you with those types of the services. And I will repeat, we are not doing it. We are not charging a fee. It's the university or the school under the Faculty of Management and Law trying to give back to the local communities. All right, the presentation is gone. All right, other ways in which we can assist would be areas where one might need to understand how to draft a budget, because remember, everyone needs to draft a budget because the actual expenses. Why would you need to draft a budget? For you to be able to track your expenses, to control your material flow in terms of cost. We can also assist you with awareness and guidance, as well as information pertaining to that area. When we were discussing with the organizer of this event, there was a request that we touch on specific items, such as common issues that entrepreneurs are facing, such as tax registration. But we came to the conclusion that we will touch on that on a high level. However, if there is a need through the digital hub, we are also ready, or we can welcome the idea of having a separate workshop where we look at tax registration, tax compliance, the different types of taxes that you as the business owner would need to pay if you are running a business.
Right. I'm going to come in and speak to taxes. Right. So in terms of tax compliance, I'm going to start off in terms of, the registration. So with registrations, it depends on whether you have started a company or not. So if you've established a company, the moment you register a company with CIPC, automatically you will be registered for Income Tax Act, right? So you will get a notification that this is your tax reference number. So that is the tax number that you're going to use whenever now you need to basically file your returns, right? So I'm going to speak about filing of returns. Now I'm just going to speak about registrations. So if you have a company, you've registered the company with CIPC, automatically you will be registered for Income Tax Act, all right? So to say all the income that, I'm generating in my business, I have to pay tax on this income. So that would be income tax, all right? There's another form of tax that you would also then need to, when obviously you meet the requirements, pay, which is VAT, value added tax. So that is only when you have made or generated, revenue or sales exceeding 2.3 million. This is effective 1st April 2026. So there was a change where the VAT threshold was increased effective 1 April 2026. So the old threshold was 1 million. So in the past, if you've made sales exceeding 1 million, then you needed to register as a VAT vendor. So that is compulsory registration. So if you don't register, SARS would still consider you to be a VAT vendor. Do you see how then this becomes a problem? Because if you don't know that you need to register as a VAT vendor, but SARS considers you as a VAT vendor, then you won't be making, VAT payments to SARS, right? Meaning that you will be subject to penalties and interest, right? But then there are other people who are saying, even though I'm not meeting the tax threshold, I still want to register voluntarily, all right? So if you want to register voluntarily, then SARS says you have to be making a revenue exceeding 120,000 previously before the change, which was effective 1st April 2026. The threshold for voluntary registration was 50,000. All right. So there's income tax registration, there's VAT registration. So income tax, it's automatic. All right. VAT registration, you need to meet the threshold. I've spoken about the threshold. Compulsory, you need to be making sales of exceeding 2.3 million, all right? If you want to register voluntarily, then you need to be making revenue exceeding 120,000, and that is in a 12 months period. So SARS is just going to look at any 12 months period and say, have you generated sales exceeding these amounts that I've just spoken to, all right? And then because you are a business, you probably would have employed, people, you have employees, then you would also have to then, register for payroll taxes. That is your payee, pay as you earn, right? So as you work, for people who are working, you know that the amount that the company says I'm going to be paying you is not the amount that you eventually get paid into your bank accounts, right? So you would see that there's a gross amount. So they are saying, I'm paying you 20,000 per month, but then the amount that comes into your bank is less than the 20,000. It's because of, all the other deductions and tax as well, all right? So this falls under then payroll, taxes, payee, pay as you earn, and then other taxes falling under payroll taxes would be your UIF, unemployment insurance fund, right? In cases where you lose your employment, basically then you can get payments, from this fund, as you are busy trying to look for another employment. And then the other, tax falling under payroll taxes is SDL, which is Skills Development Levy, right? So that is all in terms of registrations for tax purposes on a very high level. Then moving to record keeping. So in terms of SARS, you need to keep your documents for a period of 5 years, all right? Because in order for you to claim, deductions, because as you run your business, you remember you're being taxed on the revenue, so the amount that you are generating. But because you are running a business and you are taxed on the amounts that you are generating, SARS allows you to also claim deductions. So as you incur expenses for business purposes, you can claim them as deductions. So for you to claim a deduction, then you need to be keeping proof of the amounts that you've spent. So meaning that you need to be, keeping your invoices safe so that when SARS says, well, I need proof that indeed you've spent so much, on raw materials, for instance, then you can then prove that, right? So SARS says you need to keep this information for a period of 5 years, right? So the period could be longer in situations where basically you are having, disputes with SARS. So you say it, well, this amount is an expenditure, and SARS says no, but it's not. You can't claim a deduction. So you are still basically then in a dispute process, then the 5 years can increase. But 5 years is basically then the period that you need to then keep information. Then in terms of common mistakes that we observe is that, you find that, taxpayers are not keeping proof of documents. Remember, you need to keep this proof so that you are able to claim your expenditures, right? Taxpayers are not filing their returns, right? So because you have registered for income tax, you registered for VAT, you need to then be filing returns. So you need to file a return for the income tax. You need to file returns for the VAT, right? So returns for the income tax are just once in a tax year, but for the VAT, these are more frequent. The common ones being monthly basis or bi-monthly. You see, these are more frequent, and that is where we have problems. You see that a lot of taxpayers are not filing their VAT returns because, they happen, more frequently. With the Income Tax Act, yes, we do have, but I think, the problem lies with, VAT returns. So these are really the common, problem areas. And the moment you don't file your returns, then you're going to pay your taxes late. And the moment you pay your taxes late, then there will be penalties that are imposed by SARS, right? But not only that, because remember, as Mr. Ramuhalo has stated, tax is a law. So if you're not complying with tax, basically then you are committing a criminal offense. You could very well be, sent to prison as well. There is that possibility, all right? So let's be aware of this, basic, tax compliance requirements and ensure that we are basically complying so that we are not breaking the laws of the country. I think, thank you very much. Let me not go into too much details. Thank you.
Sorry about what just happened. It was just a technical error. But thank you very much from the School of Accountancy. I think the next item that is coming, it's Mr. Mamabolo from the Social Development. I'm not sure if he's available. All right. Let's just give them a warm round of applause.
Tobela. Le kae? Le salawana. Le lapile ne? Okay. Let me be brief. Yeah, my name is Mahobe Mamabolo from the Department of Social Development under Community Development. I'm a community development practitioner. Kamo Social Development, we have two sections. Social work services that most people know, and community development. And then we have our two agencies for the purposes of those who don't know that we fund is the National Development Agency, NDA, and SASSA, if you didn't know. Now, Kamo Social Development, under our section, we have 5 programs. Number 1, community mobilization. That is where we do our imbizos. We work closely with, I would say, all the stakeholders, and we engage communities in matters that are affecting them as a community. The second part is institutional capacity building and support, where we deal mainly with NPO Act. Every organization that wants to register as a non-profit organization, they come through us. We are the custodian of NPO. And we encourage young people to register NPOs. Those of you who might be registered already, we have a new system where you have to create your own profile and login details so that you can trace how far you are with your registration process. And we are also able to assist if you experience any challenges. Even registering your NPO, you can still do it on your own, but you are ready to assist. Another program is community-based research and planning. This is where we conduct your community profiling, your household profiling. We go house to house, looking for challenges that households experience in the communities, bringing interventions through our partners and our stakeholders, any type of challenge. The next one is poverty alleviation and sustainable livelihood. Through this program, we support households that are involved in backyard gardens. We provide gardening tools, we provide seeds, seedlings for them to develop those gardens. The second part, we fund cooperatives. I'm happy VKB was here. Cooperative. And I know amongst us, rena batho ba bantsho, ha re rate di-cooperative because a re kwane, ha ke itse hore ke tlhago, or what is the problem. But we support cooperatives. Ka hara di-cooperatives, we are looking at 3 categories. Number 1, youth cooperatives, which we lack. Just last week, I got a call from Leader. They were looking for youth cooperatives. I didn't have any myself, Kara database. So we are in short of youth cooperatives. I know NIDA, they're also looking for them. I know SITFA, I know NDA, all of them looking for youth cooperatives with which we don't have. So I'm challenging you today, young people, go and register cooperatives and lead to do one. Okay, but VKB is Yona wise away. Anyway, so another thing, another program, remove youth development. Through youth development, we fund the NPOs. No, I didn't talk about the funding at the cooperatives. I said youth cooperatives, we have women cooperatives, and we have cooperatives, the general. General cooperatives is just a mixture of the above. You can be above 35, and you can be a man and a woman in one cooperative, the general cooperatives. Our minimum funding is 500,000 to a maximum of 1.8 million. And we all know when you seek funding for more than $1 million, you must have better for cooperatives. So that is our funding. And when it comes to youth development, we fund youth NPOs. By youth NPOs, I'm saying any NPO that provides service to young people. Your board of directors can be above 35, but your management must be strictly youth. So such NPOs that provide services to young people, we provide funding. We fund 3 components, the youth organizations. Number 1, your youth mobilization. When you talk about youth mobilization, we are talking about the awareness campaigns. We are not specific, or now we're not in a campaign. As long as you are bringing information to young people, it might be through sports, whatever way you do it, we fund it. Number 2, we fund skills development. Any skills development that you provide to young people, we also support that. Number three, we fund entrepreneurship development. It might be through workshops, even the workshops like these ones, Chedu Druta Watuka compliance. We consider them as entrepreneurship. If you are offering such, we do funding. Our minimum funding for youth NPOs is 500,000 to 1 million. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Momobolo. Thank you very much for that informative session or presentation, rather. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being attentive up to this far. We have started very late, and then we were supposed to be going out for lunch, but it is just a request from us that can we just finish the program? I'll just cut the 40 minutes that we had on the panel discussions, just cut them to 30 minutes maximum. And then so that we can just finish all and then we go out. We will only have one space for entertainment that will come after the upcoming panel discussion. And then from there, we have the last panel discussion and then we are done with the day. So as we continue, I would like to, let me just introduce myself again. I am Mr. Mampa Mashapu. And then I will be chairing the session that is coming right now, the panel discussion. And then I would like to call the panelists to the floor. We have firstly Mr. Emle Dwaba. Can you please just come forth? And then we also have Mr. Tosaro. Please come forth. We also have Miss Mashaka, Wendy Mashaka. And then we also have Mr. Kharos. Please come forth. And then we also have Dr. Nkwana. Can you please just kindly join us for the panel discussion? So just to give you a highlight, the panel discussion is going to be about the agriculture as a business and moving beyond subsistence farming. So we will be talking about how do farmers move from being subsistence to basically commercial. So let me just join my colleagues here. You'll be coming on the second session, not this one, the second, yeah, the second. Follow my. Right. Yes, thank you very much. I think we need to be very attentive. I have several people here on the floor. We have some of them are commercial farmers, some are semi-commercial. We also have an agro-processor, and then we also have a specialist in the agricultural space within the university. So colleagues, welcome to the panel. Thank you for honoring my invitation. Firstly, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, starting from this side, and then just tell us who you are, where you're from, and what do you do, and what level of farming are you at?
Thanks, firstly, my name is Matthew Ledwaba. I'm the CEO of Fonsete Primary Cooperative. I'm from the Ward 41, Kamboga Maraba, Kamu. We are farming with crops production.
Good.
Sorry, the level of the level that you're at.
Okay, my level, I'm in commercial.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mampuru Tusao. I am the CEO and founder of Shira Dairy Stud. I am a commercial stud breeder. I specialize in Kalari red goats and PIC 410 pigs. It's very good to be here. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wendy Mushaka. I'm a semi-commercial farmer. We are well known for our beautiful cabbage. We also have a piggery. We also offer trainings. Yeah, thank you.
Tobela Arlocheng. My name is Carlos Edward from the company called Carlos P2 Ltd, based go number 74 Fernwood Street, go Polokwane. What we do at Carlos, we produce our very own unique yogurt. We call it Puta Yogurt. It's available in different flavors. I'm not a farmer, but I'm into manufacturing, but we call it agro processing. So the level a little bit more, now we are upgrading our factory will be, before the end of this year, will be up to somewhere over 13,500 units a day or 500 grams. So I got we commission or king. Yeah, but we'll be there before the end of this year. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Patience Nkwana. Most of you might be knowing me. I'm an established farmer. I'm a lecturer, a senior lecturer with the University of Limpopo and also researcher. I work for the Center for Rural Community Empowerment. We specialize with community development, and one of our recent adventures are youth development, community development and women empowerment in agricultural sector. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for those great introductions. I think we should just start with the session, and then we'll just try to be as short as possible. And then the first question that I have for our panelists is to Mr. Mampuru. We often have that agriculture is often viewed as a way of producing food rather than a business venture. So what mindset changes are needed for young people to transition from subsistence farming to commercial agriculture? What advice can you give to them then?
Thank you very much. I think for the young people who are here, the best thing to do is to take advantage of opportunities like the one we have today. The only way to change your mindset is to create or to be exposed to what commercial farming or semi-commercial farming looks like. Because everybody's used to planting for their consumption at home. But once you see what people who look just like you are doing with a similar size space, or even just a bit bigger, it will help you change how you view it and how to actually monetize it outside of just your home and your community.
All right. If maybe someone want to elaborate more on that, Miss Wendy. Okay. Yeah, you can. Okay. Let me just move on to the second question then that I have for our panelist. I'll move to Mr. Ledwaba. With your experience in farming, how can young farmers move beyond selling raw agricultural products and use value addition processing and also branding to increase profitability? Mr. Harus, I would like you to tap onto this one as well, but we can start the site and then we will move on to you.
The problem e le gore gone jwalo ke bona gore our young farmers we are not sustainable in farming, and it's where dilo tše dintši di kgona go ka diragala. If we can take this very serious farming as very serious, re tlo kgona go ka tšwela pele. And in le compliance, most of our young farmers a ba kgone go ka comply. Ke dilo tše le gore di re bušetša morago ge tshwanetse re supply big farmer, big businesses a re kgone go ka supply, because most of us a re na ntho e ba e bitsang di-gap. Re no ba re farmer re se re lebelele the potential ya gore re ka kgona go ka fitlhelela dilo kore re ke gogela morago ge re dia mereko a re kgone go ka bontšha gore re ikemišeditše go ya pele re no phela re dutše poleke e teng. Please e ke kgopela gore ge re ka dio lokiša dilo tša di-compliance, therefore we will go further. Thank you.
Okay, Kamo agro processing, one of the main challenges is majority of young people don't really understand what is agro processing. While agro processing is what you do almost every day. I can give you a few examples. Or when you wake up early in the morning, or Sunday, Saturday, any day of the week, how only busy go today, that that is agro processing. But the challenge but that is agro processing. O ka gopola morago mola ka nako ya COVID, batho ne ba le busy ba tlhakantšha di-ginger le di-gemmer or whatever, ba re ba dira ditlhare or medication ya go fight that COVID. That is agro processing. The only challenge our people don't really understand how best they can commercialize it, because we fully understand that each and every day, ka di Saturday, the Christmas time, the Good Friday, la ka di beetroot kwa strateng kwa le busy le tshela ka hara ga mabetlelo le great le tshela tshaka la ka le tshaka le medi chike le tshela di vinegar ka moka ga tsona le tshaka mabetlelo no to ja rice. That is agro processing. So if our government can be able to fully simplify the term agro processing so that our people can understand what is agro processing, I think we'll be able to see difference and we'll be able to see more young people tapping into agro processing, because I fully understand that if you are if the government support the agro processors, automatically they support the farmers, because there is no way in which agro processor can survive without the farmer. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ledwaba. I'm going to come back to you again. I just wanted to understand certain basics. Also, just give a highlight on this point as well. That how important is branding? How important is branding towards marketing of agricultural products?
Ke rata hore ke tlhalosetse the panel branding. A ke le a tseba gore dijo tše a re no di romela maybe ke go Siame or other shops. You need to brand your products before products yela. Go nna tše re na le malwetši, o no kwa ba re batho ba jele a poison. So ka kua ba kgona go ka determine gore products ye e tšwa go nsete because of branding. So if products ya gago a se brandiwe o khumana le goreng di shopo di ba le problem ya go tseba gore na bothata bo e le gore bo ka bo e tšwa which farmers, because le a tseba gore re berekiša di-chemical tše e le goreng a di a lokela go ka jewa. That's why even these days ba stopile go rekišetša mang le mang di-products tša farming. So branding yela ke yona e thušang gore ba tsebe gore products yela e tšwa from which company.
While we're still on the issue of branding, you understand that branding is part of the regulation, KR 146, the food and cosmetics. So here some of the rules still on the page. And you must remember when it comes to the branding, I don't know for a while, ask Kamako processing, I don't know for a while yogurt, the ingredients give strawberry, give stabilizer, all those things, ingredients, sweet potatoes, flavors. So when it comes to branding, ratomaga yen chibing kamara betle. I don't know tomaga when so when the legislation or otomaga yen chi uyaka inyan. If you can check all of the products, you'll realize already preservatives they are always at the end. There is no way bagari the list of the ingredients of our product of tomaga preservatives. It's not possible because the preservatives get a small edits we add into the product, so they will always be coma fililo. So branding the way we go on the list of the ingredients, regulation, otomaga yo ofeleja kai, otomaga inchi ofeleja kai inyan. Barcode your size, so visibility and stuff like that. So you realize or there is a lot yellowing. The branding can take us the whole day only, like ion, because it goes back to the very same part here, the colors. That is why you'll check or most of the woolies, Washimisha almost 2 colors, keep black and white. And Washaka other brands, Washimisha almost 3 colors, not more than that. Just a quick example, actually go in TK, go how many colors if you can check there. Green, black, I think, and white. Red line, how many colors there? White, blue, I think it's red or whatever. University of Limpopo, how many colors? So, but then right now you check or if the branding, still is colorful. A lot of colors still don't even understand. And when you talk about the branding again, you must remember each and every product, product description, the size, allergens, if you don't want to, we can take the whole day. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much for touching on that. If you could understand, we had presentations that were talking about the issues surrounding IP. IP is intellectual property. So whatever that the panelists are saying, we are actually touching based on that. The issues of intellectual property. We spoke about, we had a speaker talking about agro-processing. So those are some of the elements that they're actually highlighting here. So moving on to, just to go into the ladies, the question is for you, Ms. Mashaka. So as a young farmer, you are actually doing well. We have seen you on the social media. We've visited your farm. You're actually doing quite well. So what actually motivated you to venture into farming, and How did you get to progress to the level that you are at this young age?
The main thing in pushing end up join a farming, it was because the issue of unemployment. We have a lot of graduates who are at home, are doing nothing, but banal opportunity, or they can do something with their life to get somewhere. So how I got here, I'll just give you the background of how I have started, just a little background of how I've started. It was not an easy journey because I'm the first generation farmer. Number two, I did not have capital. So I had to find ways to raise money so that I can fund my smaller Nyana farm. So what I did was that I was going to the nearest villages, re ba ena le di-party, ke topa the cans. Back then, be di-party. So ne ke bontshwa ekare ke a gafa back then. So I used to go there, ka lesaka, ke topa, then recycle them. Ba mphang tšhelete. So I started as a backyard farmer, ke dirile chicken farming, but that was not my main goal. I was only doing chicken farming because I wanted to reach my goal of being a farmer. Remember, I told you I'm the first generation farmer. I don't have land. It means I must find ways to have land. So he started there as a backyard chicken farmer with only 50 chickens that I bought for December. By then, I didn't raise from scratch. And then I started selling to the nearest villages. Then I raised money. And then I went to Komushate. And then the first thing, breakthrough, when I won competition, yeah, Polokwane municipality. And then I entered the competition, got winner the first prize, yeah, the best crop farmer. And then from there, the journey at Homowola, from there, I got other funding from other departments. I won multiple awards, national awards. So that's how my journey started. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. We really appreciate yeah, you can clap hands. That's actually an inspiring story. Yes. So, Dr. Ngwana, as a lecturer, as a senior lecturer, and as a farmer as well, what key skills do young people need to succeed in agriculture today, strictly?
Today, we without shying away from it, we are exiting the third industrial revolution. We are expecting farmers that are future ready, farmers that are, smart in their hands. I am talking about an era where we expect each and every farmer in here to have good digital skills. We've got cell phones in our hands, and to what extent do we use them for our productivity, for our visibility, and just for enhancement? How far do you go as a farmer on that? So it's very important that as a farmer today, you make sure the phone you have in your hand, it's more like that weapon someone had 76 years ago. It must work for you. It should open doors that ordinary keys cannot open. And one other, while still talking about digital skills, is that the era of billboards is coming to an end. They are a little bit digitized, but they come at a price. So as a farmer, it's very important that you should be able to market your own product. And the only way you can start marketing your own product, it's for you to use the tools at hand for free, of course, or at a cost you can afford. The little data you can have once in a while, there and there. And one other thing is that as a farmer, you shouldn't take for granted the issue of continuous learning. I know most of the farmers are graduates. Most of them are much more educated than professors today. And most of the farmers, some of them, they've got your maybe secondary education, which is good if you want to venture into farming. But one skill that you should never take for granted as a farmer is the skill of continuous learning. As a farmer, you should take opportunity of every learning opportunity that comes your way. We can talk about workshops, we can talk about, symposiums, we can talk about gatherings like this ones, we can talk about huge endeavors, we can talk about online engagement, your online webinars, online free courses. We are not saying go back to university or go back to ATVET. Little skills that you can acquire as you go by. as farmers, you should never take for granted that. There is one avenue that farmers do not fully explore. You know, as farmers, you have the opportunity to organize yourselves into small groups, depending on what you're doing, of course, such that you can make groups of learning, you know, more like your informal schools. As farmers, you can come together, you know, and call yourself a commodity group, a cabbage group, you know. Some of you maybe who are in macadamia, avocado, you know, mango. There are grower associations that in those associations there are continuous activities of learning, and this is where we are, you know, we know for sure that you continue learning, you continue capacitating yourself. As a farmer, more than even a teacher, we expect spontaneous decisions from you, immediate decisions. So imagine if we can have a storm come by today, you know, we can have your hailstorm or what coming by. The first person who is affected more than us who are driving back home at the end of the day is the farmer who left their crops or their livestock in the field. You are expected to decide immediately. How do you decide immediately if you don't have knowledge? You know, so I just encourage you as farmers to continue learning, no matter how small the opportunity or the room is for learning. Organize yourselves in groups for learning. I was very impressed when Mr. Mamabolo mentioned that for as long as it has to do with developing the youth, for as long as it has to do with, you know, capacitating, they are always there to fund, you know. Be the first ones at the forefront of grabbing these opportunities to say, we want to organize so and so to come give a talk. You know, the university is here to support you at no extra cost, because we do have a pillar of community engagement that specializes in making sure that you guys are capacitated as far as knowledge is concerned. Each and every one of you should gain knowledge from the university. So these are just some of the avenues, you know, you can explore. And one last crucial skill that I think each and every farmer should have today, it's your climate smart skills. Yeah. I'm not saying go
talk about the other things. So thank you very much for touching on that note, Mr. Harus. It was very, very important. We could have the whole day talking about the things or that we have in agriculture, the things that we need to do. We will try by all means so that we can organize seminars or webinars if it's possible, so that we can always have this kind of conversations. So in closing, I would like you to, all of you, because I've taken most of the time, to just in brief, what advice would you give to the young farmers who are actually just starting farmers? What kind of advice in so that they can be able to succeed in their business? I'll start with Dr. Patience.
The advice I would give to a young farmer who is about to start is for them to see the end goal first. You know, they must not look down on themselves, because self-esteem in every business is everything. They should see the bigger picture and work the ground hard.
A re thome godimo, re thoma fatshe, which means gore o tlo thoma o dira yo ka di 10, as time goes on, o di 15, as time goes on, o di 200, o di 5,000, going up. And the most important part ke gore ge o bana you want to be a farmer, tsamaya le di-farm. If o nyaka ba agro processor, shika the agro processor. Gore at the end of the day, ge o dirile juice ela go thoma go fermenta, gore thoma go kukuma, e thoma go tšhentšha di-color, o tla botsiša gore na ba nna le tšhelang gore ntho e se ke be ya tšhentšha di-color. Ba go botša gore okay, re ne di natamycin, re na le sodium benzoate, blah 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 blah, so that ba tla kgona go thuša. But then ge o ka re o re o nyaka ba agro processor, wa tsamaya thoma go šoma kwa maybe matitšhere a gone mo o tloang, because o thoma gore gape nto ya fermenta a tsona o bolela ka eng ga botsebotse. So at the end of the day, go ba botlhokwa gore o tsamaye le batho ba e le goreng ba dira seo se dirang gore le kgone go fana maele le kgone go thušana. Ke a leboga.
Now I always preach over start with what you have to go where you want. As someone who started from a very humble beginnings, I know what I'm talking about. I think failure is not final until it's final. For me, for example, I can plant 10,000 cabbages. Diabetes fago. Tomorrow I'll plant 20,000. Diabetes fago. Tomorrow I'll go for 30,000. As they've mentioned, agriculture is risky. So always make sure that over cash flow or next. If you want a disaster this season, you come again. We don't give up, because most of the farmers, no, one of the good days you'll win very big. It's either you win big or you lose big. Thank you.
I had to give her flowers. Guys, to succeed, you must be curious and you must have a desire. If you are not curious about what you're doing, you will not have the desire to learn more or to achieve whatever it is that you set out to achieve. So, be curious about what was presented here before. Be curious about the funding, be curious about the compliance, be curious about the panelists who are here. I think the common denominator is that we all want something ko Polokwane. Prof. But we were all curious at some point. Mr. Aldoba Dujumo, I won second place 10 years ago. He won first. Got the first expo. GW 2016, Go Cricket Club. We were all curious and we all had a desire. I was curious about everything I've done so far. I'm curious about everything I'm going to do moving forward. And I'd encourage everyone who's here, the young people, who be curious, explore the options that were given to you, and have a desire to pursue at least one of the things that have been presented. Thank you.
Dikolegi tša ka di boletše ka moka, nna ke tlo feleletša. Government, Department of Agriculture and Department of Education, now as we speak, ba fane 30% ya gore di farmer di supply di feeding scheme directly. So e nyaka rena as young farmers re ilo tsentšha matsogo mo fase. Are we going to able to supply dikolo tše ntši kgale le re le kgopela gore le di feeding scheme di supply? So now ba re file opportunity ya gore ro supply dikolo directly, not ntwela ya di tenders. Now agriculture e tšere 30%. So let us be ready, re ilo make sure we are working and re ba le tšwelopele. Please.
That was great and it was nice and very short. From me, this is not my stage. This was their stage. Nna ke rata ho leboga for your attention, and please make sure you use these people. Really, John Moki, make sure you get their contacts, make use of them because they are at another level where we need all to be. So make use of the networking session, le kgone hore le kwešiše more about what's happening in agriculture. And also, please, le ya ko ba bolela ka mme wa municipality. Ke kgopela le mošale morago ga o se le go ya retirement. Mošale morago. So that she can be able to help you guys. This also made me realize, when we have these events, it always make me realize the importance of collaboration, because we are serving the same community. If you can see in this room, we have several people, several organizations, even on your programs. It's because of collaboration. We could not do this alone. But because of the collaborations that we are making, we are serving the same community, the same people. So hence we are able to achieve such events. To my panelists, thank you very much. Oh, there's a question here. Oh, should I take a question? Okay, just one.
Minister of Sports. Creation. Minister of Agriculture. Yes, my girl. I just want Bafana Bafana to win. People will now. Imagine FIFA World Cup champion 2026 belongs to
Hayi swara sibithi ayifaya na mbakazi. Mbakazi ayichiya ashilo uyifithi sheta umufukenge. Kibawo ngiyayibona leshiba. Ngiyalibona leshiba. Ashibawo it's the goal. And the World Cup belongs to Bafana Bafana. Ladu. Okay, Tabo, it's okay, it's okay. I think that is a very realistic dream, and this is the end of my class. Class dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I told you, I saw the faces and I just knew it's gonna be a blast. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Let's give them one more round of applause, please. All right, let's move right along. Can we please have Miss Salome Mabasa? She will be taking us through the last panel discussion, and then we'll have a Q&A session, after which we will go for lunch, exhibition, and networking. DJ?
Thank you, DJ. Good afternoon. Ala, ala, young people. Ala, ala. Ala, ala, ba, so ala, ala. Why you carry heavy nyana, so? Happy Sato Tsela Maban, this is youth month. Sorry, Kital. Nagil Kishaja di Lojedi Massif. Kikopela, the following speakers, Me Analetsoalo from Co Energy. Mr. S.S. Matonsi from FNB, and then Miss Onika Sebanyoni, Joale Farms, and then Mr. Kubai from Limpopo Agriculture. Kindly come to the front and let's have a discussion. Thank you. Thank you, my DJ. All right, before I take the seat to chair the discussion, in the previous session, we spoke more about the commercial farming. Now we are going to unlock the agricultural finances. You pay attention, especially those who are still starting, pay attention to the details on what are the avenues or other opportunities that you can have regarding the finances in agriculture. Let's get it on. Thank you. fela mic o mongwe. Thank you so much. Let me reintroduce myself. Lina laka ke nna Nkeko Salome Mabaso, oba Mabasa. I'm the programs coordinator for Southern African Association of Youth Clubs. So it's not about me, it's about our speakers here to give you the opportunities that you might be looking for. I will firstly ask you to introduce yourself and tell us where you're coming from.
Good afternoon. As per the program, it says SS Matons. I think we are in the youth month. I will forgive the people. My name is Richard Matonzi. I come from FNB and I work as a key account manager or a financial educator.
Ralocha, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Onika Sbanyoni. I'm the founder of Joella Farms. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Anna Letwalo. I'm from Core Energy Vetcop Solar Plant.
Aye,
Aye.
Minjani.
Ifukile minjani.
Go. Vito Future Kubai from Limpopo Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, senior agri-economist based in Capricorn Northwestern.
Thank you so much. We are unlocking agricultural finance, also empowering small-scale farmers to build bankable, sustainable, and market-driven enterprises. I will start with Joale Farmers. Says Onika, you know that small-scale farmers often identify access to finances as one of their biggest barriers. So you as the commercial farmer, or you with your experience, what are the main reasons why many agricultural enterprises struggle to access funding? And then based on that, how can these challenges be addressed?
Well, thank you for that question. That's a very, very good question, especially because when you are thinking about funding, it's very easy for you to say what you need, to say how this much is needed and how much you need. But one thing we fail to do, especially as upcoming farmers, we really fail to communicate how we're going to use those funds to grow the business or to make more funds. It's easy to note down things that you might need or things that you might want, but it's very difficult to communicate a system as to how you're going to efficiently use those funds to also make money and to also grow and scale your business. Many of us think that when you are looking for funding, it's checklist exercise, of which it's really not. You can have the business plan, you can have the pitch deck and all of that, in terms of the requirements. But honestly, truly what you need is a business that has a business module that is sustainable, that speaks to how you are going to be able to make money, because we also have to remember that if you as a farmer are in the business of growing your farm, investors who are looking to fund you are also in the business of looking for businesses that are scalable and that are able to scale. So addressing those barriers, it would really come into as small farmers, how do we really think about positioning ourselves, and how do we build partners within an ecosystem that can help us to build business models that are bankable and that are able to scale, which makes you as a business funder able to go and find finance and position yourself very favorably to actually get that funding and be able to use it to grow and scale.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please give it to FNB. Mr. Matonzi, we know that you are heavy money.
I think so. We are some rich sugar daddies.
All right. From your department, what does it mean for a small scale farmers to be bankable?
So basically, the first thing first that I think it's essential in any business, it's the good relationship between a business owner and the business. What do I mean? It's you might be making enough money, but if you do not have the right means of utilizing your money at the end of the day, you're going to have challenges. And the first thing that one needs to do is to have a transactional bankable account. In saying a transactional account that is in good standing, it means that one needs to make it a point that they use their money efficiently and eloquently, just to avoid issues where you have to approach a financial institution tomorrow and you are being asked things that you are not able to answer. The other thing is, if you are banking your money, it makes it easier for your accountant when they have to prepare your financials at the end of the financial year. Because without financials, you are certainly shooting yourself in the foot, because we need to see what happens in your business, and you need to differentiate between your personal and also your business transactions or finances.
Thank you. Just the follow-up. Based on that, what are the key elements should farmers have in place before approaching funders or investors?
First thing first is financial discipline.
Okay.
Second thing is they need to have a transactional account or a bank account. They also need to ensure that they have a personal and a business account that is separate. But very important, you must have a clean credit record, because that we also take into account when we are looking into your finances. And you must have your finances, in fact, your house must be in order. So to it that when you go and you approach your business funder, they are able to fund you. The other thing is, I forgot to mention the fact that it should be a registered business, not just you wake up and you say you need this. And in terms of what you want or what you need, it must be a realistic request. Because now I can't be making 1,000 rand and the next thing I want 50 million rands, and I do not have anything that will substantiate. Because in most cases, we start small. I like the fact that the last panel indicated that we start small and we grow. So same applies in the banking space. So yes, one needs to have good financial relationship and discipline at the end of the day.
All right, thank you. I'll come back to you with a funding perspective. Please note that. Give it to Department of Agriculture. Mr. Gubai, thanks for coming.
Thanks.
We know that many farmers heavily rely on grants, right? Can you kindly share what are your grants in the department? What kind of grants do you offer? I know that you offer one grant, but what are those, and then what are the requirements?
Our main grant is CASP. I know majority you are aware of it, Comprehensive Agricultural Support Program. We call it, in other terms, it's a producer support, where we support farmers. Our packages, it's your infrastructure development, your reservoir, your boreholes, your pack sheds. And we have different categories. We have your subsistence farmers, your vulnerable, your smallholder, your commercial farmers. So requirements, you must be a South African citizen, because we cannot take bread of our kids and give it to other people who are not deserving. You must have your land tenure system in good standing. It's either you have your title deed, your PTO, or your lease agreement. And also you must comply. South Africa is a water-stressed country, so you must have that water license or proof of application. Also, your company or your farm enterprise must be registered. We need your tax clearance certificate and other issues involved, which relates to compliance. Our program also provides production inputs. When you see smallholder farmers, we have many smallholder farmers which were funded by this program, and it's a grant program.
Thank you. If in your department you have any other funding models, please note it. I'll come back while I'm closing the sessions. Kindly give it to Co-Energy. Madam, thank you also for availing yourself for discussing. We know that beyond accessing finance, many farmers struggle with financial management. It's a struggle. They have big money in their account, they misuse the money, administration is a problem. But what financial skills should farmers develop to ensure that funding translates into business growth?
Number one is they need to diversify. You know, their farming is in cycles of 3 months maximum. So within that period, you may find that there's no income in the farm. So they need to diversify by having other small programs, or if you are a chicken or a broiler farmer, then you need to have something that is keeping money coming in between, because you would need to buy some feeds, you would need to pay your employees if you have, you would need to pay for electricity and other bills. Secondly, our farmers, they don't bank. I heard FNB saying they need to have bankable accounts. You can't have the business money going into the personal account. So you need to make sure that whatever cent belongs to the business goes into the business account. Thirdly, they need to have bookkeepers. You can't run a business without a bookkeeper. There's no business that is big or small for a bookkeeper. So they need to make sure that they've got bookkeepers, and their bookkeepers are managing their books annually. Again, they need to be issuing invoice compliance. So you can't sell, and whenever you are selling, there's no records of what you sold. Even also the implementation plan, whatever your activities needs to be recorded, so that at the end of the day, you are able to see if you are making profit, you are doing well or not. And the other thing that I heard the previous speakers talking about was education. It doesn't mean that when you are farming, you don't have to educate yourself. You need to attend financial management skills, you need to attend business management skills, you need to attend record keeping, so that at least at the end of the day, when we say you are able to maintain and sustain, there's compliance, and you are also able to have a bankable account. Yes.
Thank you so much. Also, with the last question that I'm coming to you, we'll talk about transition from depending on grants, because you spoke more about capacity building from your side. Give it back to Sis Onika. I'm sure, guys, you are noting down. This is very crucial because we're speaking about the finances that might assist you in your projects. Sis Onika, in closing from your side, for your as a successful agricultural entrepreneur, what financial decisions or strategies contributed most to the growth of your farming enterprise, or that made sustainability within your project?
Thank you again for the question. It's a very good question, and I just want to be very honest in saying one thing. You know, in as much as there's an abundance of opportunity within the realm that we are operating in, right? We also, as companies, we need a lot of discipline in the sense of also how we use the money that comes into the business. And for us, honestly speaking, the growth came from strategically having partners and also using the mentorship that we got from the partners and applying it to our everyday businesses. We had to save. We also had to show our potential investors that we are also worth the investment. The issue of starting small, it's not to be taken lightly, and it's only not in production. It's also in when it comes to savings. It's also when it comes to operations. When it comes to building systems, it's just being very intentional about where it is that you are and where it is that you are building to where you are going, accessing extreme discipline and being very vigilant, and a lot of people think that success is doing something, at high speeds all the time and being perfect all the time. But I also want to share the fact that success looks a lot like consistency. It looks a lot like doing the hard things when you feel like it, when you don't feel like it, taking the criticism, even if it is harsh sometimes, taking it on your skin, because you really, as a business, do grow from that. And we have learned that in the small positionings that we have took, we were able to position ourselves for opportunities that were beyond our wildest dreams. But only those things only came because we were big shots that started as small shots who didn't stop shooting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sis Onika. Give it to Mr. Matonzi. Thank you. Bari abale kui gabotsenyana. Kera gore bari voice, let's project our voice. They can't hear you. The only powerful voice they can hear ki Sesi Onika. Madam ke tseba mpheta ka voice. Re leka go ba professional nyana. Re tla kuka di voice tšela tša rena. Mr. Richard, le tla no kuka voice ya lena le lena. From the funding perspective, from the funding institution perspective, what criteria are used when accessing agricultural funding applications, and what can a farmer do to improve their chances of approval?
So is that audible enough? Oh, okay, thank you. So in terms of the criteria that we look into, it's first of all, as I indicated, we look in terms of what you're asking for, and also looking in terms of the viability of your business, meaning that if you've got a business account, is it always in a good standing? So if it's in a good standing, that means that you do not have returned debit orders or unpaid debit orders. You always make it a point that your account is not overdrawn. Making it a point that you separate your personal from your business. And last but not least, it's to have a bookkeeper or an accountant. So the accountant will prepare your financials, because we would require your financials. Then we are able to check and see if whatever request you're putting through, it's viable, and we can look at it. At some point, we would need to get a banker to visit your premises just to assess what assets do you have, where are you based, and indeed, if you are putting something in black and white, is it necessarily there on land to say, this is where I am, and I've got 3 hectares of oranges, for argument's sake. So we are able to also come and have an assessment, and also to get an understanding of your business, to say, how do you then sustain your business in the process that you are, or in the period that you are not necessarily making any income. But very important is to have a good relationship with your money. So meaning you must separate your personal finances from your business finances. That will assist.
Thank you so much. That was so beneficial. Please pass it to Department of Mr. Kubai, what alternative funding models should small-scale farmers explore to grow their sustainable agricultural projects or businesses?
Thanks, ma'am. Am I audible? Okay. Apart from grants, there is a model which is called blended finance. And our department also...
I think they missed that. They kept on saying it.
Blended.
Please state that again.
Blended.
Blended.
Yeah, blended.
Blended.
Yeah. Also, our department, when it to mechanization, we have blended finance, where 20% is your own contribution, 80% is ours. One other model which farmers, they pay less attention, it's contract farming. Voluminous researchers, they've endorsed contract farming as one of the remedial actions to address issues such as finance, issues such as market access, and other issues, your food safety, your food security. So smallholder farmers can engage with agribusinesses and get those contracts or start contracting with those agribusinesses. Because what they can offer in kind also is your production inputs, because one might need a loan for procuring production inputs, of which that agribusiness which you have entered into agreement with can supply you with those things. And also in terms of finance and technical advice. So blended funding, it's facilitated by Land Bank. It depends. With them, it can be 60-40, it can be 50-50, depending on how much do you need from them. So those are other models which farmers can explore. Your loans, you can explore your loans, but what you must know, you must have those bankable collaterals. You cannot go to a funding institution without anything which they can use as collateral. We are not playing games here. There are risks involved. That business of yours, you want to make an income. So the bank also wants to benefit. So we are not in a space where we must nest each other and give each other money just for free. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. No, it's noted. Madam, last one. How can small-scale farmers transition from depending on grants towards building self-sustaining agricultural enterprise, also being capable of attracting commercial investment? So meaning, how can they transition gore ba tlogele go nyaka tšhelete fela, but le bona ba te sustain?
I think number one, ke go šomiša the cost-effective methods. For example, instead of buying the fertilizers, you can use the, what do they call the woolies ones? The organic ones.
organic ones.
The manures, yes. That's number one. It's another example. And then number two, they can also work as a team. If I have a tractor and you have a planter, instead of me hiring a tractor, we can work together. You can buy diesel, you come and plow my land, and you also borrow me your planter. So they can just do pull equipment sharing, wherein they jointly work on the buy equipments, they share. Thirdly is compliance. If you are not compliant, you can't grow your business. Because if you are not banking, you are cheating yourself, you are cheating your business. So how will you know if you are growing or not? And the fourth thing is market. If you are able to secure the market I'm not just talking about, because most of our farmers, when you check with them, where do you sell your produce? They are saying locally. And locally, when you say your bunch of spinach is 20 rand, they rather buy in town when they go to town. So if you secure the market where you know that you've got an off-take agreement, then you will be able to sustain and stop relying on grants. Because even with us, when we offer funding, we also check who funded you before. If you are more than happy to always say to us, some people, they think if they've been funded by more than 5 funders before, they are successful. You are not successful. It means you are not doing well. Because yes, social development cannot come and give you 10,000. Tomorrow is core energy 20,000. Tomorrow is the department 50,000. Next year it's a FNB, they give you a loan, but still you still need to rely on a grant. It means something somewhere is not right. So you need to go back to the drawing board. And bookkeeping also is something that will tell you where you are if you are not doing well. Because when you do bookkeeping and recording, I always tell our incubates, we've got our youth incubates to say, you need to check the income versus the expenditure. That will tell. If your business is not able to give you a stipend, you start with a stipend before you start getting the salary. then something somewhere is not right. So you need to get a stipend. Stipend must be part of the expenditures. And then the income, there must be an income. Then you minus the expenditure from the income. Then it will tell you how much you are remaining with. Wendy spoke about contingency budget that you put aside for rainy days. Also, you must always, when you got the income, there must be somewhere where you are saving. If you don't have a business account with NTK, where you know that when you need something, you will just go and get that time when you don't have money or you don't have anything in your business or account, then you need to be saving on monthly basis from the income. There should be money that is going to the savings, so that come the time wherein maybe you've got an offtake where they are saying we need 10,000 bunches of spinach a week, you are able to scale up without going to look for grants or loans. Thank you.
Please just hold the mic. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, this is too deep, and it also gives you an opportunity as a young person to learn and transition as much as possible. Tšhelete ra e rata, tšhelete e tsene ka hara account, e shake dipotla. That's why the business tša rena di wa. In closing, out of all the discussion we had, thank you so much for the great discussions. What is one piece of advice that you can give to our farmers? Or now, what is it that they can do to sustain themselves within their businesses of projects? Just one statement of the advice.
To sustain yourself, as meager as this will sound, you honestly need discipline. Because without discipline, you will not be able to go forward. Because you need to do it when you are happy, you need to do it when you are sad, you need to do it when it makes sense, you need to do it when it doesn't, and all those times in between. So discipline for me will be the biggest takeaway. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Sis Onika. Let's give her a clap. Thank you. Mr. Richard?
It's tough to single out one.
Okay.
However, being honest with yourself and being disciplined helps one to grow their business. But all in all, we tend to think that banks or financial institutions doesn't look at us. But if we are honest and we make informed financial decisions on our daily doings or on our accounts every day, that will help us elevate ourselves to be better people tomorrow. Last but not least, it is always easy to ask for a credit or a finance from a bank. But let me advise you that a credit is not free. You will have to pay interest at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Pala Matoro. Madam, just one last advice.
Passion and commitment.
Passion and commitment.
Yes, you have to love what you are doing. You can't be a farmer if you don't want to get dirty. Yes.
Matoro. Mr. Kubai?
It starts with passion and love for it. Despite having to get money out of it, it starts with passion. But I will say, do not be the jack of all trades and not mastering one thing. Master what you have to master and continue with it. You don't have to do everything for you to succeed. Elon Musk, they have mastered what they want to do and they are doing it. Ukwasumkhumane aterele political party, kamo ki preacher, kamo he's a butcher, kamo ki ingi. No, they have mastered one thing. Thanks.
Thank you so much. From the table takeaways, or what stand out for this discussion was partnership, financial management skills. Let me just say capacity building workshops that are related to what you are doing. You must also be compliant. You must also think about the relationship between your personal banking and the business banking. and also discipline, passion, and commitment. So if also as a farmer you can't be dirty, meaning you can't go to it. So thank you so much for this. As much as I was a facilitator or the chair for this sitting, I also took 3 or 4 of the discussions. Thank you so much, my people. Thank you so much for these discussions. I think Mr. Mampa is correct to say we need to further have this engagement, not only when we have these events, especially because your discussion, there's a lot. Tse e le goreng ba nyaka go di tseba, but due to limited times, they are limit. Thank you so much. This marks the end of our discussions. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Maybe 1 or 2 so that batho ba kgone go ja. O na le question? Okay. Right. Thank you. Oh, this one is mine?
Yes, it's yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Yes. Okay. Can we allow the panelists to take a picture, and then we will have questions. Please jot out questions, and then I'm going to allow people to ask questions. All right. Yeah, okay. All right. Guys, thank you very much for being so attentive, and then the engagements were so impactful, Elijona. So I'm going to open up. Okay, I'm going to open up for questions. I'm going to take only 5 questions. If you have any questions from the previous speakers to the speakers that we have here, any question? I have 1 over there, 2. Okay, we have 2 so far. I think we'll start here.
Hello everyone. I have a question for you, Mr. from FNP. I heard you saying that for bookkeeping we need to have an accountant. Is that correct? Yeah, so I wanted to ask, for us small scale farmers, we don't have money to pay for an accountant. And what can you say is a viable bookkeeping system?
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Matonzi, can we please just have them down, and let me just take the other one.
No, thanks a lot, sir. So my question will be directed to anyone who is an expert into this particular thing that I'm about to ask. So in South Africa, we have a situation whereby we have 1.2 million square kilometers of land, which is equivalent to 122 million hectares of land. So amongst the 60 million population that we are currently in, we have a situation in South Africa whereby more than 80% of the population are black, but then less than 20% of the population are white, but then yet less than 20% of the population tend to own more than 80 million hectares, or 80% of the land. And then those who are more than 80% tend to own less than 20% of the land. That's why they are congested, and that's why they are unable to farm and get proper arable land to farm. So if we address this land question, then it will allocate us sufficient land for us to go into farming, because of now we don't have space to farm because of Abu ZZ2 and other multinational companies have occupied the entire South Africa where we are unable to farm. And now we are left with human settlement, land, which is not arable enough for us to go into farming. So can't the state at least expropriate the land without compensation in order to redistribute the land equivalently so that we can get to have our fair share in this particular industry of farming. Because of if they don't pass such policies, then we'll eventually have, or we won't have sufficient land to farm. Uh, we are men in South Africa. Also, that was my first point. Nene. So my second one was that why can't the state do a state-owned bank that will give citizens lending at an affordable price? Because of if they don't do that, the repo rate keeps going higher and it tends to affect the prime lending rate, which we are unable to pay because of it comes
Sorry,
at a higher
comrade.
price.
Sorry, comrade. Sorry, my comrade. Sorry, my leadership. State your question.
Yeah.
What is your question?
Okay, can't we create a state-owned bank that will actually give us what do you call lending at an affordable price? Because of currently the commercial banks tend to give us bonds at a higher rate, and we are unable to pay it back because of once we get to pay it back, we get to pay it back at an exorbitant amount.
We got it, comrade. Hold it then, comrade.
Oh, Mara was not finished.
Let substantiate your questions. Don't make a statement and content. Just give us what are you saying? What are you asking us? Because you are asking, you are also giving us a statement, you also substantiate the solution. So please, you please your answer. Again,
Okay, ke kgopela mo answer. O lema kae a so bolele lebitso la hao? O lema kae? Leina la farm ya o ke eng o ba leina la company ya gago?
Ke Morema's Gardens.
Where?
Here in Teflop, T Junction, Amkhobu, next door like Reka Luther, opposite routes.
Okay, my fellow farmers ba ba leng ka mo ho na le wa nang le farm ye leng over 100 hectares. A imshe letsogo a mmontšhe. Ho na le ba ba nang le over 100 hectares, 50 hectares, 80 hectares. Wa ba bona ebile o dutse gaufi le wena. Land e gona Magoshing. Magoshi ge o nyaka land. A ke nna ke tlo o fa information e ke tsang because I'm working with the farmers. Ge ba go file 1 hectare o palla ko lema 1 hectare. O ka se boele le wa kgopela another hectare ke. And ge ba go fa 1 hectare ba go fa condition ya 6 months, the land must be utilized again. And then now I'm funding where I'm working. Ge ke fitla kwa ke hwetša o palla ke 1 hectare ke tlo o funda. La ikwishisha. So ke nagana you are answered. And then the Department of Social Development, they are also funding. Department of Agriculture, they are also funding. SAIC, Liana is also assisting the SMMEs. Now I'm from Core Energy. So there's no need here loan here, the rates facility. You don't even have to go there. Well, now you just need to work. Le Magoshi ge ba bona you are working, they come and extend. Again, the main aim is to create jobs. That's number 1. And then we do poverty alleviation again. And then I increase the economy of the land again. Yes, the economy of the country. So I can say as a matter, land is not a problem. Funding is not a problem. The only thing that we need from you is commitment, passion, and your hard work.
Thank you so much. Addition to answer? Last two.
Just to add, because of land is an issue, we also as farmers need to look at innovation, because the way we farm today is not going to be sustainable to feed everybody in the next 50 years. Like, for example, we do aquaponic farming. So in a space of 30 hectare, 30 by 30 square feet that you can maybe be your backyard or that you can own or get from the community, you could actually compete with small, medium farmers, just to add. So yeah, it's all about commitment. And what you do, you can get pretty much everything you asked about. Thank you.
Okay, on the issue of bookkeepers and accountants. So in a case where we are at a position that we are not able to afford that at the moment, it means that we must stay true and honest to ourselves. We need to bank each and every cent that we are making from our business. And how we're using it, it means that if you're going to pay yourself for salary, you need to have a personal account that will be able to take care of your personal stuff. So meaning your business account should render business activities and your personal account should render personal activities. So to it, that will be able to assess you at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. 1, 2. Okay, addition.
Just and then for the programs that you can use because you can't pay for a bookkeeper, you have your Zohus, you have I think stuff like Sage and stuff like that. They have your online where you don't pay monthly. You can use those free programs until you're able to pay. Even the monthly version, it's not as bad as having a bookkeeper.
Good afternoon. My question is, I heard you speaking about trying partnerships with other farmers in terms of equipment so that it's not necessary that you buy every equipment you need on your farm. So that's a strategy that I've even tried myself. But the problem that I'm coming across is sustainability and reliability. You find that majority of the time, the people that you are talking to or you have agreements with, they don't tend to be reliable and it's not sustainable for the long run. So do you have any ways in which I can be assisted in terms of how do I come up with a reasonable agreement with them so that it can be sustainable?
Between self-sustainable.
Just to add, you know, when it comes to sharing equipment and asset, right? We first and foremost we need not to overlook contracting, right? And we also need to be very amicable in a sense. Ya gore, you must not ask for a finger and expect a hand. You know. What you're talking about also comes to risk mitigation. You have to find out the core problem. Why is it not sustainable? Maybe it's not sustainable because the guy just simply doesn't like borrowing you his equipment because you bring it back, you know, in less than condition, you know. So you have to then take it upon yourself as an entrepreneur to speak to them and find what is it that can work and how do we make this relationship amicable between us? Because you have to remember that in most part, those are partnerships. So you have to speak down to your partner and find out how can they feel like they are also benefiting. That is how they can also always come to the par.
When coming to business, we don't have family. When coming to business, if you are working for me and you are my neighbor, when we are at work, we are at work. And if there's a contract, again, a contract must be legally binding. If we have a tractor and we say when you take it, when you bring it back, it must be in the same condition. There must be a clause in the contract that says, if when it comes back is not in that good condition, we're not the last person to utilize it, you need to go and fix it. And if you don't fix it, again, there are legal terms in the contract. So we need to legally bind you. If it means we come to your farm and we take whatever we can take, we sell and we fix the tractor, let it be. That's how the white people that started VKB, the cooperative NTK, they had legally binding contracts. So if you want to work together as a group and then you share the resources, there must be legally binding contracts.
Afternoon, my name is Nyeko Malulega. My question is directed to social development. We're currently running a cooperative. We just opened it. So we want to know in terms of funding, how do we start on approaching them? And the other thing is we are 2 ladies and 3 giants. So we want to know if we qualify before we can even come to your site. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. Usually we do the call for proposals where we advertise every annually. Financially, we do calls for proposal. Rincha Disekula, we used to do it on radio, but because of the budget constraints, we no longer advertise on radios. So you'll have to rely on people that are working where you are to give you the information. Even on social media, even on our Facebook page, our website, you can get the information. You don't approach us, you attend the briefing sessions. That's where we're going to give you all the requirements that you need. And you'll have like 30 days to go and prepare yourself. Don't know if I've answered you. And then as for the issue of you being 2 ladies and 3, I did say that we have 3 categories. So it means you're going to fall into the general cooperatives because you are mixed. But if you are a youth, all 5 of you are youth, then it's a youth cooperatives. And that is where we lack cooperatives. We need more youth cooperatives. Thank you.
Chap. Last one. Second last.
Good afternoon. I basically want to talk to the gentleman up there in terms of land, acquiring land and what is needed and all those kind of things. And the issue of public banks that offer that. We had land bank. The issue with bank land is that it used to give people money to buy land and they end up not paying back the loan, and which it nearly collapsed the bank. Secondly, we have got Department of Land Reform. Is it Land Reform, Mr. Kubai? That advertise lease land. You can lease direct from government. But the issue with getting a big land and cheaper, the problem also came to what Mme said, that we can give you a big land, but are you going to utilize it? Some people get big land. We find that they're utilizing 1 hectare on it, and the rest end up being a residential area for those people. Some, they get to be abandoned because they fight to get a big land, or they try to get a big land, and it goes to be underutilized. So land bank basically will give you loan to buy whatever land that you want, but the only problem is that paying that money back becomes an issue with more. That is why now the requirements to get loans, even in FNB, ABSA, any bank, that's why they're very much, how would I say, tight. They're tight because of we are not repaying it back as we're supposed to. But for you to get that kind of land that you're talking about, regularly check on the website of rural development, land reform. They are next to Vleeslapa. So usually check with them when they advertise land to lease. Just currently, there were, I think, two farms worth, I think, 100 to 200 hectares that were advertised somewhere around Bochum. That is a state land that you can lease for 20 years on a very cheap amount. That comes with infrastructure on top of it. You understand? A farmhouse and all those kind of things. So boreholes and all those kind. Regularly check on those, because if you keep asking for government to make a public bank, that it's a losing battle. If you go to land bank, you might not read the requirements, but for that kind of for those kind of things, to check land reform, they do advertise the land to lease every year, every 3 or 6 months, Mr. Kubane, every 6 months. In a year, they can advertise twice. Sometimes they advertise more than 10 farms. Sometimes it's 1 or 2.
Thank you.
Afternoon. My name is Jack Litwalo. I wanted to ask about funding applications. When are they being published, and when do we apply regularly or each and every financial year? And do you offer, I saw Mr. from FNB, Matonzi, do you offer workshops for financial workshops for the upcoming young farmers who are trying to balance their financial project? So yes, that's my 2 questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our producer support program, it's annually. I may not be sure about the correct time for it to be published, because sometimes it can be late or earlier, but it's once per year. And the application of this year, we're going to use budget for the next financial year.
Thank you for the question. Yes, definitely we do offer financial literacy or financial management courses that helps us make informed financial decisions at the end of the day. Yes, we do, across board.
All right. I think that was enough. As I've indicated, guys, that we can spend the whole day here talking. So I just want us to make sure that we wrap up the program. Dear panelists, thank you very much for honoring our invitation and also being able to feed our guests here. So I would like to call upon yes, they're from the Capricorn District Municipality, Mr. Maibela. Bawana? Oh, okay. Yeah, they're here so that they can give us a closing remarks. And then from that, or should I call Miss Abba? Miss Abba? Oh. Okay, Abba Subaru Melu. Ke bona wa Michelle Tso. Okay. Okay, Miss Abba is not here. While they're still coming to the fourth, after we closing, we're going to have our guests, or rather our stakeholders, leave first, so that they can have their lunch in the boardroom, the Bushveld. It's when you leave the conference hall, you go to your left, and then your lunch will be served there. To you, our guests, the participants, the lunch will be served outside. If you go outside, you'll just see a space for serving lunch. So that will be all from me. And yeah, thank you very much for actually being here, guys. This was a very, very informative session. I really enjoyed. And then we will continue doing this kind of events for you so that we can always engage. So, Mr. Maibela, can you please just give us the closing remarks?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Simon Mapokola. I'm not Mr. Maibela. Mr. Maibela is that gentleman sitting at the back. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone that is here. For you took your time. Good. Oh, so thank you. Okay. On behalf of Capricorn District Municipality, it is an honor to close this impactful youth agriculture trade-off. Today, we witness a powerful collaboration between innovation, academia, and industry right here at the University of Limpopo. We began the warm welcome from Councillor Chochi and the clear purpose of which was outlined by Ms. Miponi Sorowa. Our experts provided invaluable tools, success from product development and shelf life testing with Dr. Yvonne Maila. We also provided intellectual property strategy with Mr. Mampur and gaming farming opportunities from Ms. NL Zuma. We also addressed the practicalities of running an agribusiness, looking at marketing strategies with Dr. K. Tojani. We were also engaged with the Department of Social Development, which was Mr. Mama Bolo. I would like to say to our young farmers, the Capricorn District Municipality, it is deeply committed to your growth. The knowledge shared today is your toolkit. Take from this room and apply it to your fields. And would also like to thank the University of Limpopo and the Digital Hub for organizing this vital platform. And have a good afternoon. Thank you.